He's up there! I should have trust you. You could beat the maniac. No, you're fooling me. Go away, go away! No, not the gun. I want to see your face again.
And we're live. Welcome everyone. We have a very exciting show for you today. So peep this. Did you know that between 1990 and 2019, less than 5% of total movie output in general was either a remake or a sequel? Feels like a lot more, doesn't it? In the horror genre, specifically, that margin is like a bit higher. Is that ever going to change? Probably not. When economics and pragmatism play an ever larger role in the film industry, originality and creativity will inevitably be sidelined in favor of that quick cash grab. But let's not be too cynical. As the saying goes, there's gold in them there hills. So if you are wondering which horror remakes you need to see, which ones are just worth a watch, and those you should absolutely avoid, well, you've come to the right place. Over the next couple of hours, we'll be ranking the good, the bad, and the downright awful in a very oversaturated subgenre that we call the modern horror remake. But we also want to know what you think. Let us know what remakes you guys think are worthy and which ones you think deserve to go straight in the bin. I'm Vass, by the way, and as ever, I'm joined by my main man, Pete. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, Vassy. Thank you very much for inviting me back, mate. I've come back to life, and that it's all been work, boring stuff. So I actually had something to look forward to this week, and the subject of remakes was, I thought it was a great subject chosen by your good self, Vassy. So I've been sprucing up this week, watching lots and lots of remakes. Some that I've seen before, but some that I kind of wrote off and never bothered. But we'll talk about it, but I've had some good times and some bad times, mate. But yeah, happy to be here, mate.
Yeah, as ever, that's the way these things go, don't they? I'm exactly the same. A lot of these movies, I did try and catch up on a bunch. Thing about remakes is most of them aren't so good, so you'll watch them once and then you'll just forget about them. And those are the ones I try to dip back into. Just give them a second shot, see if they are as bad as you remember. Most of them were, but some of them actually weren't too bad. So yeah, but before we get onto that, mate, have you seen any good movies lately?
I think the only two kind of horror movies I've seen as of note, unless I'm forgetting something, I saw Operation Wolf Hunting. Did you get a chance to check that one out?
Dude, I did not. It's there waiting for me to watch, but I did not get a chance to watch it. What was it like? Was it good?
Listen, I really like this film. It's a little bit nihilistic, right enough, but it's a whole bunch of fun at the same time as well. It's very comic book violence. The violence is intense. Think Con Air meets I Saw the Devil, and you're not too far off with this movie. Like, and also, chucking a bit of Died with a Vengeance on a ship section as well. You mash all these things up there, and you've got Operation Wolf Hunting. It's a really gory, fun horror movie, mate. Yeah, I look forward to you check it out, and it's absolutely set up for a sequel as well, and I'll be there waiting for the sequel as well. Can't wait for it. So
has it got action in it as well?
Mate, it is essentially an action film with horror elements. Is what it is. It's about a ship that is transporting the dangerous criminals in Korea, I think it is, transporting them off to the shores of Korea. That's it. And because of they tried to do it before in an aeroplane, but all hell broke loose, bombs went off and everything like that. So they're secretly putting them on this cargo ship and transporting them. But little did they know that there is some form of super soldier experiment going on in the basement of the ship, and the two worlds collide and all hell breaks loose, mate. And that's all I really want to say before we get into spoiler territory. But it's an action movie. Yeah, I mean, check out the trailer, you guys, if you're not sure, and the trailer pretty much tells you what the movie's about, and it's balls to the wall action and gore. And when I say gore, this is gory, like it's a gory movie, just like those Koreans know how to do, and they do gore very well. So yeah, I mean, there's a fair few people get their faces smashed in this movie, right? And the special effects, and it looks all practical, but they've got like loads of blood pissing out of the nose and the ears, and there's no squibs or anything like that. So I'm really mystified how they did it, like, but it looks amazing. It goes great in it. So I would say definitely check out Operation Wolf Hunting, mate. It's great. And the other movie I checked was A Knock at the Cabin.
Shit.
You can hear you, but we can't see you, boss.
Yeah. You can hear me, right? Sorry, man. There's one thing I always forget to do, and guess what? I forgot to do it again. So just give me 2 seconds.
No problem.
2 seconds.
Kind of reminds me of the BBC Two after 2 a.m.
Yeah. Honestly, you think after so long I'd have this thing set, but obviously it has been a few weeks. So
no, exactly. There's no judgment here. He's back.
Oh, right. Now I've pressed it. Thing is, I have to press record on this video camera. If I don't press record, it automatically turns off after half an hour.
So, right. Anyway. Standby mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, did you watch Knock at the Cabin, mate?
Knock at the Cabin, mate. Do you know what? I liked it. I didn't think it was the best film in the world, but I liked it. I had a good time. I thought David Bautista was great in it. I thought, he's
a really good actor.
Yeah, I can act. Yeah. The boy can act. Like, he's certainly the best wrestler, turned actor. With regards to acting talents for me, like
it's very empathetic. He's a very empathetic actor, isn't he? Like you can he's got a lot of emotion, like when he emotes.
He is. I liked him in this movie. I liked him, even though his intentions are hokey and could be seen as disastrous and evil. He displays enough empathy to keep you on his side, type of thing, which is a difficult trick to pull, but for me, he's the best wrestler turned actor, and hopefully Rowdy Roddy Piper can't hear me in heaven. I'm sorry, Rowdy, but exactly. So I like
this film. Sorry, I was going to say this film. It's like if you've watched the trailer, there's no surprises in this film. Like I was expecting a big twist at the end, but since I had seen the trailer, I was like, you know what's happening all the whole way through. It's like there's no surprises whatsoever, and it was enjoyable enough. It was like super well made and everything, but it definitely didn't blow me away. Honestly, it was about as good as I expected. So at the end of it, I was like, that was good. The weird thing was, I was watching it with the wife, and literally like halfway through, she went off to do something else. And she called it, man. Everything that was going to happen in the movie. She says, "Okay, now this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen." And then she went, and then she came back later on and went, "You're exactly right. You called it exactly." Wow. She's like, honestly, when we watch movies together, she always knows after about 20 minutes exactly how the plot's going to go, and she's never wrong. I don't know how she does it, but man, she called it. I was telling her, "Nah, this is M. Night Shyamalan. You'll never get it. There's going to be a big twist. You won't believe it." And then at the end, she came back in the room and went, "Nah, that was it. Exactly what you said. That's exactly what happened."
Well, to be fair, M. Night movies can be hit or miss for me. If he'll make a good one and then make 3 or 4 pieces of shit. So, but with this one, and generally the pieces of shit all have one thing in common, and he's written them. But this one was based on a novel, and I wonder if that was this one's saving grace, because it wasn't all his idea. Obviously, there's been some input there because he's adapted the screenplay, fair enough. But ultimately, the idea is from a novel, and I think even
the poster for it, even the poster for it remind me of Cabin in the Woods. If you look at the posters for both movies, it looks almost the same, man. I think they would have changed up a little bit.
Absolutely.
So the other movie, did you watch that movie? It was called Blood. that vampire movie directed by Brad Anderson, who made Session 9. Did you watch it?
No, is that the one with Heather Monaghan in? Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah.
Right, I've not seen it yet, mate. But I've got it.
Yeah, it's okay, mate. It's fine. It's I don't know, man. They really play down the I hate when they do that, man. In vampire movies, they play down the vampire bits. You want those to be nice and scary, and you want the vampire. It's like a sort of vampire movie, but it's like they've done it in a way that it's almost like realistic. Like it could happen if it was a virus, and the way they were handling it would be this sort of way. So
that's what's called. That's what's called a cop out, mate. A cop out, you know. The unwillingness to commit to a
goddamn scary vampire film. Yeah, that's all I ask.
Yeah.
The other movie I saw was let's have a look. Did you watch that movie called The Price We Pay? It was directed by the same guy who directed Midnight Meat Train. Have you seen it? It's got Stephen Dorff, and oh god, I can't remember the dude's name on it. Anyway, it's a pretty darn good movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's about these Stephen Dorff and this other guy. Oh, what's his name? It's going to come to me. Let's look it up for us, isn't it? Look it up. They rob a bank. No, actually, they don't. Not a bank. It's like a thrift store. Like, and they rob it, like a buy and sell place, and they rob it, and they're trying to get away, and they get and they have to take a hostage to escape, and outside some farm woods thing, they have the car dies, so they have to go to this this like farmhouse thing, and there's lots of bad things happening. People are getting abducted and taken to this farmhouse, and it's really good, man. I really enjoyed it.
It's Emil Hirsch.
That's the dude.
It's Emil Hirsch. But if it's from the same director as Midnight Meat Train, he also did Versus as well, which I rate as a badass film.
Oh, I remember watching that ages ago.
Yeah. So that director, for me, rocks. Like, he's made some good films.
Yeah, so definitely got some style to it. Yeah. And it's one of those movies where it's totally not obvious what's happening. There's lots of eternity.
He also did No One Lives. Do you remember that film, No One Lives?
Oh, did you do that one as well?
Yeah.
That's not. I've got that somewhere actually. But
me too. Me too.
That's not bad. But
so no, I rate him.
Yeah, so
I'll definitely check that out.
That one definitely was recommended. I think the only other movie I saw that was horror was it was this Jewish horror film called The Offering. Which I tell you what, I've seen 2 or 3 horror movies based on like Jewish mythology, and none of them have been very good. Like, I didn't like The Vigil, and that one with from the director that came out last year, from the director of Annabelle. Did you watch that one that came out near the end of last year? And that one wasn't. I didn't like that one at all.
I can't think of the name.
And I think the Possession from like 10 years ago, that one wasn't too bad.
I remember
that's the one that Sam Raimi produced. Yeah. That one was probably the best of the lot, but this one was boring. It was like like very nothing you've not seen before, and it wasn't scary. It wasn't just I won't be watching that one again.
Fair play, mate. And the only other thing I watched, mate, was started watching a TV show on Netflix called I think it's called Red Rose. It's about some kind of haunted app that you get on your phone that essentially persuades you to kill yourself. I'm about 3 episodes in, and it's really quite good. I get the distinct feeling that it's possibly aimed at teenagers, and the timelines are pretty fucked up because the main characters are teenagers.
Oh, is it English? Is it English?
It's English, yeah. You get the feeling.
It showed on BBC 3, I think.
That's right. Yeah, it's a BBC program. That's right. It's based now because they're all walking around with the latest iPhones. However, the music they're listening to, I swear to God, it's all from our era, old rave music, like bloody Rhythm is a Dancer and all that. It's all that shit. So, I know, mate. I know. It very much kind of reminds me of like a Shane Meadows kind of movie, but it's this little wee horror gem. So I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So, let's see if it can stick the landing. You know what I mean? That's where it's either going to be made or it falls apart.
Yeah. Well, after you finish watching it, let me know. Let me know what it's like. 'Cause, I have heard about it, but it did put me off that it's like one of those teen led like sort of horror sort of things.
It is. I mean, there's a whole bunch of adults in it as well, so it's not quite as bad as you think you could be. But and the scary bits are suitably scary to keep you interested. To be fair enough, it's creepy.
Oh wow,
it's very creepy.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Right, before we get to the main event, we'll quickly go through the comments. And Pete, I love your T-shirt, mate. I think it's wicked. I'm jealous.
£12. £12 Forbidden Planet, mate. Forbidden Planet, £12.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong.
That's a beauty. It's a beauty. Right, Dave Bushy's in the house. Hi guys, I'll be back. I got to take a quick nap. My blood sugar's a little up and down today. I hate it when that happens.
Okay, man.
Dave says, I tend to think The Rock is probably the best wrestler turned actor, even just by charisma, and I'm always a big fan of Hulk Hogan. Just a sucker for his charisma as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind The Rock as an action star, but as an actor, yeah. Gareth's here. Hi, guys. Hi, mate.
Hey, Gareth.
The wife's here. Hi. Hi, honey. Dave says, show me free makes are useless. Or remakes. Oh, read that for us, Pete.
Remakes for me are useless because I think it's a lack of ideas, and it's usually a lack of ideas. I don't like prequels either, probably for the same reason. Yeah, I mean, listen, generally, my general opinion is I tend not to like remakes. However, one of my favorite movies ever made is classed as a remake. In fact, my favorite movie ever made is classed as a remake. So I can't hate them that much. So yeah, it's a strange one.
Yeah, he says Invasion of the Body Snatchers 78, The Thing, Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead is pretty good too. Not I think more than pretty good, but yeah,
absolutely.
My blood sugar is doing a little better, so I'm luckily not having a nap so much right now. All right, take care of yourself, dude. Dave says you're watching Megan, and he thought it was okay. He gives it a 7 out of 10. I'll probably have to watch it again because now they say it's unrated. It's now on Peacock.
Right. That's right. Yeah, I want to see the unrated version as well, mate.
Yeah. Megan, I think it's overrated so far, but it does have some good fun in it. Yeah, I think I'm surprised at how well it's done.
Yeah, me too.
Reminds me too much of the Child's Play remake, to be honest, but I like that. I like the Child's Play remake.
Yeah,
but we'll get on to that. On to that.
Oh yeah.
Right, should we get on to the main event then, please?
Let's do this.
Right, I'll stick on the intro, and I'll get all set up.
No problem.
Gotta be fucking kidding.
Awesome. Right. So, just for your information, it's 2023 now, and as far as I can see, there's 4 remakes coming this year, and the first one, I think the first one's coming. That is the Children of the Corn. It's getting another remake, which is just coming out pretty soon, and Salem's Lot sometime this year should be dropping. And I don't know, I'm a bit worried about that one now because there's no like specific date and it keeps getting pushed back. And I think that's going to be, we'll see. Got my fingers crossed. And
I wouldn't pin all your hopes on that one, Vass. Definitely.
I know. That's, honestly, it's since they announced it, I've been excited that they're going to remake it. and because it's a property that I love, like the original Salem's Lot. It's one of my favorite movies. And of course, The Exorcist is getting, which I think is going to be is it a remake or is it a reboot? I'm not sure. What do you think, Pete?
I think it's a sequel of such, because they've hired Ellen Bernstein back in as Reagan's mother, playing Reagan's mother again, but Reagan's not going to be in it. So I think it's a sequel of such that just bears the same name. But to be honest with you, mate, I'm really terrified of this film. Like, I'm terrified already, and I haven't seen a minute of it. I just think it literally is going to be sacrilege. I'm going to need an exorcist to actually exercise my fucking TV or local cinema when it comes out. I think I'm dreading it that much.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Halloween, this new trilogy, so it doesn't bode well, mate. It doesn't bode well. But hey, I heard they're going to try and make it scary, so that'd be nice.
Listen, it doesn't bode well for me that they're making an Exorcist movie. I think they only started shooting it like a few weeks ago, and they're knocking it out for this Halloween. Like, you know, so for me, it's about content and intellectual property rather than actually a love for the movie The Exorcist. You know, that's what it smells like to me. But I hope I'm wrong. You never know. If I'm wrong,
I mean, we all know how hard it is to make a good possession movie, like a scary one, because most of the time they come off either goofy or just like not scary because you've seen it all before. Everything is so over familiar. There's only certain number of things that tropes that they use time and time again. The funny voice, you know, bending in funny shapes, and the faces going and all that business. But they have pulled it off once or twice. But I'm looking forward to that. The Pope's Exorcist. I saw the trailer for that with Russell Crowe.
That's Russell Crowe.
I thought, wow, that might be good because Russell Crowe, man, he's ace. He's really good. I hope he does.
Yeah.
The film is good as he's going to be.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he has a blast, like he had a blast making Unhinged, you could clearly see he was enjoying himself being a total psycho. If he has that if he puts that kind of effort into it, then, you know, Russell Crowe is an enjoyable actor to watch, you know what I mean? And whatever he's in most of the time. So, you know, if he's in a possession flick, then yeah, I'll check that out.
Although he have a funny accent, normally when he has a funny accent, he doesn't do so well.
Yeah, that's true. Like Robin Hood.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Or Thor, was it the Thor Ragnarok last year? He had a funny accent.
Yeah.
That was just it was comical. That was.
Oh, it was.
Right, yeah, and I think the last remake is going to be again. I'm not sure if it's a remake or a reboot. It's The Strangers, which is going to be directed by Rennie Harlin, of all people, which I thought was strange when I heard that. He didn't. I don't know. Although, I mean, he's made a few horror movies. He started off in horror, didn't he? With Prison and Elm Street 4, and then he made some kick-ass action movies. He hasn't done much since the 90s that I've liked. So again, and he made an Exorcist movie as well, didn't he? So yeah, I'm not thrilled about that one either. Can't say I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, you know, does The Strangers really need a remake? Like, you know, it's only a couple of years old.
I don't know how they pick these things. I mean, the original came out, then there was a sequel, and now it hasn't even been that. It doesn't even feel like it's been that long since The Strangers was out.
No.
And now they're doing it again.
No, totally. You know, I mean, there's a few movies out there that I think that, you know, could do with a remake. I'd really like to see a remake of Maniac Cop. I really would like to see that remake. So there's a few movies out there that I would like to see remake, but, you know, The Strangers wouldn't even enter my mind, the remake. I have no idea why that's getting in there.
Right, so let's have a look at this tier list and let's see what we're in for, mate.
No problem.
Right. Here we go. So this is how we're going to rank them. We're going to rank them as all-time classics, excellent, very good, decent, bad, awful. I wanted to put a lot of different graduations in there so we can be a little bit more specific how we rate these movies. And then, of course, the not scenes. There will inevitably be a few that we haven't seen or we've seen so long ago you know, it wouldn't really be fair to give them a rating. And here is a quick glance at the list we've got. There's about 65 films in there.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what we're in for.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, I've not put any recalls in there. So there's no Candyman in there because it's not a remake. It acknowledges the original. No Halloween 2018 in there, even though it's just called Halloween.
Yeah.
For the same reason, it takes place in the same universe. It acknowledges what happened beforehand, as did the Scream, but Jeepers Creepers. I'm sure there's a bunch of others. So even Blair Witch, I haven't put Blair Witch on there either because it's not technically a remake. And like Rings, Grudge, all these ones that were out in the last few years. Yeah. Because they're not. I wouldn't consider them technically a remake. They're like loose sequels. Okay. Or like The Thing 2011. It's more of a prequel than anything else. So again, that's not on the list. And we've got plenty to work through already. So it's not. Listen, it's not. I haven't got every single little horror film remake that's been out since the 70s. But basically, I've got them all on there. Basically, might be one or two I've missed off, but there you go. Yeah, most likely the ones I haven't seen. So I thought, what the hell's the point in putting them on there? Right, okay, Pete. So the first one we've got is 13 Ghosts.
So we got 13 Ghosts from 2001. It was directed by a chap called Steve Beck, who also did the movie Ghost Ship. The budget for this movie was quite large. It was 42 million, mate. A bit of trivia on this one. In the movie, the characters need special glasses to see the ghosts. In the original 13 Ghosts, 1960, viewers needed special glasses to see the ghosts. So this is one of the few details that they kept from the original. So a wee little kind of marketing ploy there. But as for the film itself, mate, for me, this is one of those films for me that is that I'm mystified about. It's wildly popular. If you talk to people on horror forums, you know, people adore this movie. Like, you know, really do adore this movie. For me, I think it's a bit of, you know, meh. It's okay. It looks, it's polished. You know, it looks quite expensive. You know, Matthew Lillard's always good value. It's, you know, it has its moments. It's got Shannon Elizabeth in, which is always good. But for me, it leaves me a bit cold, this movie. So, you know, for me, it's just it's all right. It's all right. I don't love anything about this movie, but this movie has a shitload of loyal fans, like a real cult following. But it's just not for me, this one, mate.
I think what sets this movie apart is the set design, which I think like the production design on this movie is pretty terrific, and the house itself is just fantastic. It's all mostly made out of glass, and this I'm a fan. I remember when it came out, and I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was like the best thing ever. It's got a really good cast, and then I've visited it a couple of times since. Each time I'll be like, that was a good film. I enjoyed that, but it's nothing that really kind of, you know, marks it out, that lifts it up above just being a very good, like a very decent movie. I've not seen the original. Have you seen the original?
No, mate. No.
So we can't compare with the original. But yeah, I think the ghosts look really awesome as well. And I like a lot of the actors that are in there. A lot of them do a really good job. But the movie's not scary at all. And I don't know, if anything, I might think it's a little bit too slick for a horror film. Don't you think?
Slick. That's the word, slick. It is.
Yeah,
it's very slick.
Well, yeah, I think it is a good movie. I don't deny it. It's a good movie. But the question is, how do we rank it? So this is our very first movie and our horror remakes tier list. How do you think we should rank it, Pete? I'm tending towards going to decent.
Agreed. Decent. Yeah. It's not, you know, it's not awful.
You're not yeah, okay. It seems like you're nowhere near putting it in very good.
No,
I'm probably
no,
a
it's
lot
not.
closer than you.
Yeah, I think you get a bit more out of this movie than me, which is fair enough. And like I said, you know, you're talking sense. The production design is very good in the movie. It's just a little bit soulless for me. So it's not a bad movie. Doesn't depress me. So decent is I think a good
Let's
call.
stick that in decent then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, our first movie is 13 Ghosts, and it goes in decent. And the next movie on the list, so I make it a little bit bigger so we can see it a bit closer, is the Amityville Horror, which I think was, this is my guess, 2005? Could that be right?
That is, well, 2 seconds, mate, because the order of Amityville Horror has changed. So my research, I don't know what page it's on. So 2 seconds there, mate. How do you spell it?
I haven't changed it, dude. It's right where it was.
It's weird. Anyway.
Well, to be honest,
Right,
mate,
okay.
I'm a massive fan of the original Amityville Horror. It scared me senseless when I was a kid. When the remake came out, you know, I thought it had like a couple of good jump scares. One really, really good jump scare I remember in the movie, but it just seemed like a really pointless remake to me. I'm not a big fan of Ryan Reynolds. I mean, he's trying to act in this one. I'm not sure how good a job he does, but this one just doesn't have the atmosphere for me. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, listen. I found my research. It was 2005, mate. It was directed by a guy called Andrew. Yeah, it was directed by a guy called Andrew Douglas, who has done "You Want Me to Kill Him." His notable other effort. The budget on this one was 18 million. The trivia for this is just before shooting began, the body of a fisherman who had been murdered washed up on the bank of the river near the main house just before shooting. So weird. But yeah, the Amityville Horror remake for me, mate, much the same as yourself, to be fair. You know, it's a fairly pointless remake. The original, you know, does its thing very well, and you know, it's going to be a difficult one to beat. Ryan Reynolds didn't piss me off as much as he pissed you off by the sounds of it. I thought he was all right, but you know, I thought he was all right as in when he was going crazy. But you know what kind of like drew me out of the movie is Blummin 8-pack, which he displays all the way through the movie. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Is this a series?
No need for it, dude. No need for that at all.
It's like it's you know, it's going out to teenage girls all of a sudden, and I'm like, you're like, oh fuck, man, you know what I mean? Put that stomach away. As I'm looking down at my bang average dad bod, looking at it, going like that. Fuck off, Ryan Reynolds, you're depressing me, man. So anyway, the movie itself is pretty shallow, mate. You know, it's not one that floats my boat and I get a lot out of. I don't find it scary, and the first one has some genuinely scary moments, mate. So it's one of those ones which I have watched once and don't intend to probably ever watch again. If anybody says that.
So how long ago did you watch it when it first came out?
Yeah. But, you know, I remember it quite well, you know, and most of the time I remember just, you know, fucking Ryan Reynolds parading around with his torso out all the time, you know, and that's it. And a bunch of, you know, yeah. So, I mean, there he is in the trailer there, just with his torso out again.
I mean, the original is like a proper, I remember it. It's like every time I watch it, man, it's like an atmospheric, scary movie, man. It gives you the creeps. But this one didn't do that at all. Like I said, a couple of really good jump scares, but other than that, it didn't do nothing for me.
Yeah, I remember when this came out, mate, and I think at the time, you know, there was, you know, every other week there was a horror remake coming out, so it was just bog standard to have another one coming out, and this one was, you know, the next horror remake type of thing. So fatigue at that point, I think, was definitely setting in for sure. Yeah. So I mean, for me, I'm gonna.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, if for me, what is the category below decent?
Oh, let's have a look, mate. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've got bad. I don't know. Is it bad? It's. I think 13 Ghosts is a better movie than Amityville Horror.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. To be honest, the only thing that sells it for me is a couple of good jump scares. So I don't know. I'm happy to put it in bad. Do you want to put it in bad? You got to compare it now because we've seen the original. You have to compare it with the original as well. How good the original is and how good this one is. We can make that that comparison and let that affect rating.
Well, listen, I'm comfortable with bad then.
Let's do it. So, Ryan Reynolds, are you going in bad?
Bad.
And the next movie on the list is A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll make that bigger.
So, A Nightmare on Elm Street is the horror remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Wouldn't you know? It is a 2010 movie, and it is directed by a chap called Samuel Baer, who his previous and career afterwards has been in music and commercials. His most notable being the Smells Like Teen Spirit Nirvana video. The budget for this was 35 million. So not a bad budget, I guess. So trivia, producer Brad Fuller has stated that while the film was a financial success, the backlash from fans, critics, and industry professionals alike was so great that the phones at Platinum Dunes didn't ring for 2 years. They would not make another film until The Purge in 2013, and he admits that this film was handled poorly and a step back for the company, and it was decided from that point onwards that would be their last horror remake. So at least we've got something to thank A Nightmare on Elm Street for. Thank you.
That's harsh. That's harsh.
Oh, Platinum Dunes, man. This week, all I've seen is Platinum Dunes logo. And I'm like, Platinum Dunes, man. So at least we've got something to thank.
Good ones, man. Don't be like that. Don't be a bitch.
Well, I mean, this one I revisited, mate, and I watched again in full because I'd seen it when it first came out, didn't like it, but I thought maybe I just trashed it because I'm a son of a bitch, so I checked it out again, and it's still pretty shit, to be fair. The Freddy Krueger himself.
Was it better than the first time you watched it? That's the question.
Was it better than the first time I watched it? Yeah, probably because I didn't have prejudgment. I kind of went in with a more of an open mind, I think, than I did the first time. But it is still pretty piss poor. Like, there's a bunch of blood in it and stuff like that. And Rooney Mara looks like she's not happy to be there, and none of the cast really look happy to be there. I like the little flashback scene where Freddy's getting chased. And that puts the doubt in your mind that actually, maybe they've burned an innocent man here, and then you find out later on that he wasn't innocent. At least credit where credit is due. At least it makes sure that the audience is aware that Freddy Krueger's a filthy paedophile. which Wes Craven's movies don't really do. They insinuate it, they hint at it. But this one says, he's a dirty old paedophile, right enough. So at least it wears its heart on its sleeve right there. But as for any enjoyment from this movie, that word, mate, enjoyment from this movie, I get nothing. Nothing. So it's really watching about 100 minutes of people going through the motions, ticking those remake boxes, and it's quite depressing for me. So I don't like this movie at all. So I would put it in awful.
Honestly, Pete, I have to disagree with you this time because the first time I watched this when it came out, man, I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I hate the way he looked because it was all too realistic. I didn't even like looking in his face, and it didn't feel like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I mean, if it wasn't for the glove, it doesn't even feel like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And then I watched it about like a couple of years ago. Just for a rewatch. I think it was on one of the streaming things. I thought I'll give it another shot, and I watched it, and I quite liked it, man. I thought it was all right. I thought it was pretty effective. I thought it was like moody and atmospheric, and had some good scares in there, and I didn't mind it one little bit. I think it's got a bad rap just because it's not Robert Englund as Freddy, and like you say, it's that. They've lent onto the realism of it, the fact that he is actually that kind of baddie, and it's not as fantasy as the Nightmare on Elm Street movies are. Yeah. But I really don't mind it at all. I don't think it's a great movie, but I wouldn't call it an awful movie, dude. I really wouldn't.
No. Okay.
So
where are you putting this then?
I know. I'm just thinking, man. I don't know. It's right between decent and not decent, and I don't know. Where did you want to put it? In awful?
Yeah.
Did you? All right. Okay. All right. Then.
So,
In that case, let's just put it in bad then. Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah. Compromise, man. I like that. Yeah.
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 Right. Let's have it here. So instead of having it in awful like you wanted it, we'll knock it up one for me because I don't mind it at all. I think it's I don't think there's that wrong with it, mate. To be honest.
Okay.
I mean, it's a hell of a lot better than Nightmare on Elm Street 5 and 6, and probably about on par with 4 in my opinion. So there you go.
Fair enough. I take that point actually because 5 and 6 are awful. Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. So there it is. There we got it in bad. So honestly, it's not looking too crazy good at the moment, Pete, but I'm sure there's going to be some better movies there.
It'll get better, man. It will get better. It will.
Right. So next on the list is, have you got it up? Can you see it? Can you see? Oh, I have got it up there. The next movie is April Fool's Day, and I didn't get a chance to watch this. Honestly, I don't remember if I did. I must have watched it when it came out because I used to watch all the remakes. I have seen the original. Original is good. Didn't blow my socks off. A lot of people really like the original. But once you've watched it once, you know the crack. And I watched it a couple of times, the original. And I can appreciate the movie being different as a slasher, but not more. But this one, honestly, I have zero recollection of it. What year was it? What year did it come out?
Yeah, so this one came out in 2008, mate. It was directed by the Butcher brothers, who'd previously done the Hamiltons and the Thompsons. So I need to check that out because it's got my surname, right? I couldn't find any budget information on this one, but it was straight to video. Now, I did have the opportunity to watch this week, and I sat through the whole lot. My trivia on this is the score is a variation from the original April Fool's Day soundtrack, because that's about the only tidbit you can find on this movie. This is a diabolical movie, mate. It's got a budget of about a $5. It really has. It's ham-fisted. It's poorly shot. It felt like I was watching Days of Our Lives. You know what I mean? Everyone's got the Joey Tribbiani school of acting on the go, and that it's kind of dreadful. Like
I put the wrong one on there. Wrong trailer on. Sorry, Pete. If I put the wrong trailer on, I think I have. I put the wrong.
That's the original on. That's the original, but that's okay, mate. That's okay, mate. Honestly, I'd rather have that trailer on anyway. But the only credit for this movie is got some quite good-looking women in, mate. And that's about the only thing I can say about this genuinely awful movie, mate. It was just, like you say, if you've seen the original April Fool's Day and you know what it's all about, you don't need a remake. You just don't need a remake. And to be fair, this movie kind of doesn't really do anything the original does anyway. It's like, it's quite a lot different, but it's to its detriment. It's a really bad acted, horrible film. So this is definitely going in awful, mate. It has to go in awful because it is awful. It is awful. I challenge anybody to watch this.
Anybody famous in it?
No,
because a lot of these remakes I've watched, there's a lot of like known faces, and I remember when I watched them originally, a lot of them weren't famous back then, and it's been weird watching movies and seeing all these faces, and oh god, that's this person, they're famous. I don't remember them being famous back then. In this movie. No, absolutely. This one's got no few of these names in it.
No, it hasn't, mate. It's got nobody famous, nobody I've seen ever since, or anything like that. Like I say, if these guys are still acting, they're acting in daytime soap, for sure. Because this is very much like an audition show reel for a daytime soap. It feels that formula. It's really, really poor. Really, really poor.
Is it gory? Is it an 18 or is it more of a 15 or a 12?
I think it's more of a 15. I don't know what the certificate is.
I remember the original wasn't that gory, was it?
No,
the original April Fool's Day is not that gory movie.
No, it wasn't. But No, do you know what it is? It's about, mate. It's about a bunch of rich people and rich people problems, and I can't connect with any. Yeah, I can't connect with any of the characters whatsoever. I don't like any of the characters whatsoever, and plus they can't act to save their lives as well. It's just it's a really bad film, this one, but not bad. It's good, just bad. Unfortunately, bad.
Right. All right then, mate. Oh, it sounds pretty abysmal. So yeah, let's do that, mate. Let's stick that in awful.
Okay.
Right. Even the cover there, man, looks pretty crap. I mean, look at the state of that, man. How much little effort they put into that.
I know. It's dreadful. Like, it's Photoshop. You know, it's an hour on Photoshop. You know, that's it.
Okay, and the next movie we have on the list is Black Christmas from 2006, maybe?
Yeah, 2006. Yeah, 2006, directed by Glenn Morgan. So he's more of a producer, but did direct. Do you remember the Crispin Glover movie Willard?
Oh, was I supposed to put that on the list, dude? Is it on the list? Maybe.
No. But yeah, Willard. We'll forget about that one. But yeah, he made Willard and a couple of episodes of X-Files. The budget on this one was $21.5 million.
Wow!
Yeah, no. The trivia for this one is the film was marketed as a Final Destination movie in Japan. Don't quite understand that one. Yeah, it was marketed as a Final Destination movie in Japan. But hey ho. So my thoughts on this one, mate, is obviously there's been 2 remakes of Black Christmas, and this is my preferred remake of Black Christmas, but it's no way, you know, it doesn't touch the original. The original's a bit of a masterpiece for me, as with regards to how visceral it actually is. It's you know, it's quite an upsetting movie, Black Christmas. It's scary, like it's scary.
Gets into your skin, doesn't it?
It does. It's creepy as fuck. That's right. While this has its moments, it stays fairly true to most of the story beats of Black Christmas. So, you know, commendable for that, because if I watch a remake, I kind of want to remind myself of, you know, how good the original is, etc. It didn't annoy me, this film, or anything like that. I wasn't too pissed off with it. Certainly, you know, we'll get on to the next remake shortly, but it's been a wee while since I've watched this one. I didn't revisit this one this week, mate, but I remember not being offended by this one. I remember thinking it was an okay film. Nothing special, but nothing fantastic at the same time as well. Not bad. So I would put it as decent for me, and that's relying on the old memory there.
I mean, I remember watching this when it came out, and I haven't watched it since. I remember not enjoying this movie. I don't know. I remember this movie being quite mean-spirited, you know. But I don't have much of a memory of it, so I'm gonna have to go with your feelings on the matter. So yeah, let's stick it on. What did you say? Decent.
I put decent. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember not liking this movie, but like I said, I can't remember it, so I can't really.
Okay. Happy to compromise, mate. If you want to knock it down from decent, that's cool.
No. Let's stick with you. I'm sure you got a better memory of it than me, because I just remember not liking it at all. No. Right, and the next movie is that's quick. Black Christmas 2019.
Yeah, so Black Christmas 2019 was directed by was directed by a lady called Sophia Takai. And her previous offerings were Always Shine and TV shows like Gossip Girl, which I think says a lot, man, about this movie. Like, the budget was $5 million on this movie, so it was a low budget affair compared to the last one.
All right, quite a decent looking movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Trivia: the film had a short and rushed production schedule, being completed in about 5 months. This all includes pre-production, production, and post-production. In fact, some of the scenes in the film were shot in only one take and ad-libbed without a completed script.
Really?
I really dislike this movie, mate. For me, it had nothing of that good stuff that I liked, about Black Christmas, or even the last reboot. It ends up being about some kind of nasty male fraternity, or some kind of Illuminati type male shenanigans going on in the background. And I remember just watching it thinking, what the fuck actually is this? You know, where's my Black Christmas? And yeah, it does have the girl in the attic. You know what I mean? It does have that bit in. It stays true to that bit, but. No, I didn't like it. And, you know, as an actress, I like Imogen Poots. I think she's a good actress. And I just felt sorry for her being in, you know, a piece of shit. I'm going to rank this as awful for me, mate. Awful.
Yeah, look, I'm not even going to put the trailer on because, honestly, I can't be bothered because this movie, it's crap. It's absolute crap. And they ripped off The Exorcist 3, the famous jump scare in there. They ripped it off in this movie. Do you remember that bit?
I do remember that bit. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
As soon as you watch it, like, what are you playing? It's Exorcist 3. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing to recommend for this movie at all. It's just
it's
a pile of pants. So yeah, let's stick that in awful. It's a bit woke as well, isn't it?
It's so woke, it's unbelievable. Like, it's so woke, it's unbelievable. They might as well have just called it Woke Christmas. Woke Christmas is a better title for this movie, like Woke Christmas. And woe betide if you're a man. You know, you're all bad.
Right, mate. The next one is My Bloody Valentine 3D.
My Bloody Valentine 3D. Oh, I forgot the year of this one. Sorry, mate.
My guess is 2009. 2009 is my guess. But go on.
I think you're right. It's directed by Patrick Lussier, who made Drive Angry, Dracula 2000, and two sequels.
He's an editor, isn't he?
Say again?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
he's an editor.
He is.
Wes Craven. Is it for Wes Craven?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And he also made The Prophecy 3. The budget for this one was 14 million. And trivia on this one is the same town was featured in the Mothman Prophecies, and also featured the bridge from the very famous scene at the end of.
Oh, really? I love the Mothman Prophecies. I think it's brilliant.
Me too.
I absolutely love it, man.
You know what, Mark Pellington, where are you? Make more movies. Yeah. You're a great director. Where the fuck are you, mate?
He's doing TV now, isn't he?
Is he? He needs to do more movies, that guy, because he's got the eye. Like, he's got the eye. He's got the talent. My Bloody Valentine 3D, mate, for me, I watched when it first came out. I had some fun with it. Some fun with it, mate. You know, I don't have any kind of strong feelings about the original or anything like that. It's not something that I'm attached to or anything. So I wasn't really asked that they remade it or anything like that. I liked the 3D gimmick at the time as well.
Was it all 3D or was it new 3D? Do you remember? I remember it being all 3D.
I thought it was. I thought
like
it was
the
real
stereoscopic
3D.
one.
Yeah,
was it?
I think it was real 3D, mate. I think it came out. Well, it was converted 3D. I remember. I think if I remember rightly, it came out not long after Avatar, and James Cameron commented on My Bloody Valentine and Piranha, saying that it's an abomination of that technology. That's basically what James Cameron said there. But do you know what my memories of it, mate? I watched it. I had quite a good time. If my memory serves me rightly, there's quite an extended kind of scene where this woman's just running around naked.
Yeah, that's the only part I remember in the movie. Yeah, God knows why. Well, I don't know exactly why, but that's the bit I remember in the movie.
Yeah, yeah, she was. When I was doing my research on that, there's a lot of her interviews in there, and she said, you know, she kept. The director said, "Well, just keep grabbing the towel." And I think she had a gun or something like that at the same. She was grabbing the towel and she was grabbing the gun, and she thought, this makes no sense whatsoever. If I'm panicking for my life, then I'm wandering around trying to, you know, cover my titties up. I'm just panicking and screaming. So in the end, I just, you know, it was me who said to the director, you know, I'll do this bollock naked. So she did it bollock naked. Bless her. You know, I'm giving it up for the cause. I like that. Listen,
how do you compare it with the original, Pete? Are you a fan of the original?
Not really, mate. No, not really. I've probably
it's a very popular movie.
The original.
Some people think it's like the best thing ever, but I don't get it. I mean, I eventually saw the uncut version, and I mean the gore is the only thing I thought you could recommend for it. I don't think it's just, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of slashers, to be honest, but that one didn't do anything for us. I far preferred The Prowler. I thought it was a better movie.
Me too. The Prowler is a better movie. You're right. I mean, what I would say, mate, like I say, I had quite a good time. I wasn't offended with this one or anything like that. I wasn't, I didn't feel the urge to put on the original straight afterwards, so I kind of watched it off its own merit. It was quite well shot. It looked all right, and it was quite gory. So it was decent for me, mate, but nothing special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll go along with that. I remember, I watched it and I thought it was okay. I didn't mind it at all. But to be honest, I've not run out and watched it again since. I thought I watched it once, I liked it, and that's about it. So you just want to stick it in decent?
Yeah, let's stick it in there. In there. Yeah,
right, let's do it, mate. And the next one, you can see that, can't you? Very good.
Yeah,
on the right screen. And the next one is Body Snatchers, 1993, with the gorgeous Gabrielle Anwar. I used to have a massive, massive crush off from this movie. What do you think about that movie, Pete?
Well, yep, you're quite right. 1993. It was directed by Abel Ferrara, which I was quite surprised at, who also did Bad Lieutenant, Driller Killer, and King of New York. The budget for this one was 13 million. My trivia is Meg Tilly, who played Gabrielle Anwar's stepmother, is only
she's good in this.
Yeah, is only 10 years older than Anwar. I attempted to watch this week, mate, and I turned it off halfway through.
Why?
Why? I wasn't feeling it, mate. I was about not even halfway through. I was about 20 minutes the way through. I think the copy that I was watching was out of sync, and it was doing my fucking head in. So I can't rate this one, mate. I can't rate this one, unfortunately. But from what I saw, I thought the dialogue was clunky as hell, and it was a bit cheesy.
Oh, I'm actually a fan of this movie. I don't think it's anywhere near the original or the remake, the first remake, but I think it's my next best Body Snatchers movie. I really like it. I like the setting on the military base, and like I said, I think Gabrielle Anwar makes the movie, and Meg Tilly. She's really, really good in it. I think Forrest Whitaker's in it as well, isn't he? If I remember rightly.
He is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I like Meg Tilly too. She's totally hot.
This subgenre. Yeah, I've got a soft spot for this subgenre. So they just need to be decent, and I have a really good time with these sorts of movies, body snatcher type movies. So this one, it didn't disappoint me at all. Got to say, I've been watching a lot of trailers for these movies, and trailers used to be a lot better than they are now. I think trailers now. They ain't so good, but these ones where they have the voiceover with the guy with the deep voice, you don't get many movies like that now with that voice on. I don't know why they don't do that, because it really makes you. It's very dramatic for the movie, makes you want to watch the movie, but they don't stick to his voice in many movies now.
I was gonna say I can't remember the last time I saw a trailer with the trailer guy voice on it. I missed that.
Actually, I noticed Platinum Dunes, all their movies, they don't have any voiceover at all. Oh, I like that bit as well.
Where are you gonna run? Where are you gonna hide? Nowhere. Because there's no one like you left.
Body Snatchers. The invasion continues. They kill to be you.
So you're saying go back and revisit this one, Peter? Is that what you're saying?
I think you should. Yeah, I mean, it is super 90s, but you know what it is. That sort of time, there wasn't many good horror films out, so this one kind of stuck out for me, and I have watched it since, and I enjoyed it. It's a bit low on excitement, but it's got the tension there, and I mean, the storyline is one of those things that just kind of it brings out that sort of. You don't know what's happening, don't know who's real, who's not real. You get that tension from that storyline. So you don't have to do a lot with it to make it work. So, but I'm a fan of the movie. I'm a fan of the movie.
Body snatcher movies as well. So, fair play.
Right. So if and did I mention Gabrielle Anwar is gorgeous in this movie, and she gets the boobs out as well.
Oh, see, I shouldn't have turned it off.
You should have watched that bit at least.
Totally.
So I'm gonna put it in. I'll put it in decent because I don't know. I feel like putting it very good, Pete.
Put it in very good.
What to do? Is that all right? You don't mind?
Yeah, mate,
Yeah,
if you
I'm a
think
fan
it's
of this.
very good, pop it in.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's do that, man. Just for you, Gabrielle and Moore. Just for you. Right, and the next movie is Carrie from, I'm guessing, 2013? Could that be right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right, mate. 2013, it was directed by Kimberly Price, who made Boys Don't Cry, and the budget for this one was 30 million. Trivia on this one, it's Lindsay Lohan was considered for the role of Carrie White after being suggested by Stephen King himself due to the fact that she looks similar to Sissy Spacek. Can you imagine Carrie remake with Lindsay Lohan, mate? That's nuts.
That is nuts.
We love you, Stephen King, but you're no casting director. That is for sure.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I watched this one, mate, and I was very much kind of meh. It didn't really do much for us, mate. Although the kind of I guess the pig's blood scene was effective and everything like that. It didn't really add much. I like the original. In fact, I would say I'm a big fan of the original. Even though it's not a perfect movie at all. This was the kind of remake when it finished. I kind of wanted to put on my old, DVD of the original Carrie and just watch that to get it out of my system a little bit. It's quite slickly made. It's not a badly made film at all, and everybody's trying the best. The performances are quite good, and all that kind of stuff. The mother scenario was kind of watered down in comparison to the first, I felt. It's just a movie that just missed the mark for me. So I'm going to say for this one, mate, I don't really think this is a decent movie, but it's not an offensively bad movie anyway. It's not an awful. So I'm kind of leaning towards more bad. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I only watched it the once when it came out. I am a fan of the original. I love Brian De Palma. And especially the last act of Carrie, I think it's amazing. But yeah, I watched this one and I thought it was like a fair to middling sort of remake, not special. The lead girl was fine.
Yeah.
What's the name again?
Chloe Moritz, or I might have said that wrong.
I thought she was decent in it, but again, it was pretty unnecessary. I don't think it added anything to the original. If you want to watch like that story told really well, you could have just gone back and watched the original. There's like nothing new about this one. I think I'll join with you, Pete. What did you say?
I'm telling you, I don't know if it's so much a decent film or
I think it's fine. I'm just happy. I think it's fine. I don't think it's not very memorable. It's not one I want to go back to watch.
Yeah.
So put it in decent?
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. I didn't have any problem like getting through the movie. I watched the whole thing and I wasn't like bored or anything. So I've got to give some credit for that. A lot of movies, you just start watching it and you just get in and out.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. The next one is Child's Play remake from, I'm guessing, 2018. Oh, I think that's wrong.
Almost, my friend. 2019.
19.
It was directed by a chap called Lars Klevberg, who'd previously made the movie Polaroid. The budget for this movie was 10 million. Trivia: Mark Hamill, who voices Chucky in this movie, previously voiced Chucky in the television series Robot Chicken, the episode called Robot Chicken Plastic Buffet. So, remake of Child's Play. So, do I like this movie?
Really?
Yeah. Do I like this movie? Do you know what? I think this movie's okay, mate. I think let's start with dislikes. The one thing I dislike about it is that it got rid of, I can imagine the execs meeting and they said, okay, what we're going to keep in, what we're going to get out. And someone stood up and they went, that whole voodoo storyline, it's voodoo bullshit. Let's get rid of the voodoo bullshit and let's make AI because it's very relevant and, blah, 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 blah. Let's make AI No voodoo bullshit. Well, guess what? This motherfucker likes his voodoo bullshit, man. I like my voodoo bullshit intact. Don't you mess with my voodoo
magic,
bullshit. Exactly. So they took away my voodoo bullshit, so it gets I don't like it for that. However, saying that, mate, the AI aspect absolutely, it does work as well. It lends itself quite nicely to it. It's a nicely shot little movie, and it does have its moments, mate. I did not hate this at all. I kind of had a pretty good time with it, mate. I'm happy saying that this is a good movie. I'm probably in the minority.
100%, mate. I remember before it came out, I was so like gutted that Brad Dourif wasn't going to be doing the voice. I was like, I had a chip in my shoulder for the movie, saying I'm not gonna like this movie. I'm not gonna like this movie because why wouldn't they bring Brad Dourif back? Anyway, I watched the movie and it was different enough, and that I totally enjoyed it. I thought it was, I think it's a good film. It's got some really good kills in it as well, like the kind of kills where you're like, like with the lawnmower and all that. They've changed up the story. They've made it interesting. They made it fresh. I think that's a good way to do a remake, not a beat for beat copy of the original. There's something different about it. There's a reason to watch it. Just the only thing they've kept is the doll, really, haven't they? But yeah, I'm a fan of the movie, mate. I've got no problem at all with the movie. I was happy when I watched it. I was like pleasantly surprised. I watched it and went, wow, that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I am a fan of the movie. So let me get the screen back on again. Let's put Child's Play in. I don't know. Very good or decent? What do you think?
Decent, man. Decent. I wouldn't say it was very good. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have had another tier in between very good and decent. I don't know. Isn't it? I put extra T's in there thinking, I'm sure we'll get them all covered there. But they're still falling in the gaps, between the tiers. I find that quite annoying.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. But
it is, mate.
We're here to do our best, Vass. Our best can do no more, mate. Can do no more.
Absolutely, mate. Right, the next movie on the list is The Crazies, which is actually one I actually watched just a few days ago. How do you feel about The Crazies, man?
Yeah, so
is it crazy good?
Yeah, well, listen, I like The Crazies. I own The Crazies. So The Crazies is 2013.
I own The Crazies as well.
Oh, nice, mate. Nice.
It's one of the few movies that it's got a lenticular sleeve, and it's actually a good movie with a lenticular sleeve. That doesn't happen very often. Normally, they cover up a bad movie with one of these sleeves. But this one is a good one.
Well, I misspoke.
Go ahead, sorry.
The Crazies was actually 2010. It was directed by a chap called Brett Eigner, who made Sahara and The Last Witch Hunter. The budget for this one was 20 million. Okay. Trivia: if you read the graffiti on,
you can see it, mate. You can see it on the screen. The budget.
Yeah, definitely. The trivia for this one is if you read the graffiti on the jail cell wall, one appears to say Romero, which is obviously a nod to George Romero. Okay. Yeah. So no, listen, I like this film. I don't have much affection for the original, to be fair. I have seen the original.
No, me neither.
Yeah, but
a long time ago. It was
exactly.
It's an oddity, isn't it?
Exactly, mate. Exactly. But no, this one is it's a fairly tight, nasty, macabre little horror thriller. I thought the performances were excellent. That bit where that guy murders his family and burns them, and that lady from Pitch Black, she's outside going, "What did you do? What did you do?" It's brilliant, man. I like this movie. For me, this is a very good film.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's a cracking movie, mate. It is. I don't really know anyone who doesn't like the film, to be honest. If I had any criticisms, I think it sags a bit in the second act when it's less about the crazies and it's more about like the rednecks on the street and the army. It's more about that than everything else, but it gets back to the good stuff in the last act. But yeah, it's a really good film. It's a really good looking film as well. Yeah, and I like that main guy as well. I think he's really cool.
He's
Timothy. Is that his name?
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Confused with the actor. I can't remember his name. But Yeah, no, this is a fine film, this mate. A fine film.
Nice.
Better than the original, I'll say easily. The
Yeah.
first one we've got that's better than the original.
Definitely.
So yeah, have I put it back on screen yet? No, get that.
Not yet.
Take this back on screen. Right, so let's not waste time, and we'll stick the crazies in very good. Which one is putting excellent? Very good, very good.
Very good. Let's put this in excellent. Mate. Let's put this in excellent.
Yeah. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you, my man.
All right, good. I just got a weird notification saying something about a USB device, something happening, and you can still see me as well. All right, cool.
Still see you as well, buddy.
We're good to go. Right, the next movie on the list is Dark Water remake from, I'm guessing, 2005. Am I right?
Absolutely right, mate. Dark Water from 2005, the remake of Dark Water made by Hideo Nakataka, who made the original Ring as well. A movie that I love, the original Dark Water, I have to say. This one
me too, man. Made me cry at the end. The original Dark Water.
It's horrific, scary at the end, and it's bloody sad. So Dark Water 2005 was directed by Walter Sellis, who made the Motorcycle Diaries beforehand. The budget for this was 30 million. Trivia is Jennifer Connelly turned down a role in Paige Edwards in House of Wax, another horror remake, in order to be in this film. So that's the trivia for this one.
Interesting.
Now, for this film, mate, this film leaves me cold, mate. You know, I can see Jennifer Connelly on screen, and she's very good. And you've also got, what's his name, or from Step Brothers, John C. Reilly in there as well. You know, you've got good actors. Yeah, there's good talent in front of the camera, and there's good talent behind the camera, mate. But it just leaves me cold. It's you know, and I guess the original's quite a cold movie as well. But for me, it didn't translate. You know, the horror and
lacking the spark, isn't it? The spark is lacking.
Exactly.
The emotional punch.
Exactly. So, you know, this is a movie I've only ever watched once. I have no plans to watch it again. I feel that, you know, if ever want my Dark Water fix, I'm going back to the original every single time. I'm going to put this down as, I don't want to call it decent, mate, because for me, the movie misses the point. You know, to be scary.
Just compared to the original, and what do you think?
Say again,
as compared to the original, how do you rate it?
Yeah, to the original, I'm going to say this is a bad movie. You know, I'm not sure the original could translate well in any remake, shape, or form. So perhaps it was a no-win. You know, the task was not winnable for everyone involved. So I'm going to say this is a bad film for me, mate.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Pete. I remember watching it, and I don't remember anything about it. But I think it was. I watched it more recently than I watched the original, and I remember the original very, very well. But this one, I don't know how close it was to the original because I can't remember anything about it. Yeah. So I think that tells you a lot. So absolutely. Let's stick it in. What did we say? Bad?
Yeah, let's go for bad.
Yeah, let's stick that in bad. Sorry, Jennifer Connelly. You're a babe, but it's bad.
Yeah.
And the next one is the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Yeah, so Dawn of the Dead remake from 2004, directed by Zack Snyder. I think we all know what he's done, Watchmen, Justice League, and all that business. The budget for this one was 28 million. I think it was also written by James Gunn as well, this one. So the trivia for this one is, for the scene where Anna stitches Kenneth's wounds, the director hired a real nurse for the close-ups. She misunderstood the director's directions to go deeper and inadvertently punctured Ving Rhames' skin and stitched the prosthetics to his arm. He didn't say anything until after the scene was done filming, and the director thought the blood was Melia. Really good trick. So yeah, Ving Rhames got hurt for this movie, man. God bless him. I like this movie. I like this movie a lot, mate. I went this movie to see it at the cinema, and I had a really good time with it. I thought it was visceral, it was entertaining, it's fast-paced, and it looked brilliant. I thought the zombies would kick ass. I thought the intro was one of the best intros I think I've seen from any horror film, really. It's full pelt onward It shows you this world, this universe that it's taken place in, and it gets to the point really, really quickly. So I've got to respect it for that. I'm going to rate this as very, very good, mate. Very, very good.
Yeah, not excellent.
Not excellent. What's the top of our honor? Yeah, let's do excellent for this one. Yeah, absolutely. It's not. It's not an classic, but it's excellent.
I totally agree with Pete. The beginning of this movie, the first 10 minutes is like, I remember the first time I watched it. The first 10 minutes was so good. Like the rest of the movie just didn't live up to how good the first 10 minutes was.
Right.
And then I've watched it again quite recently, and it's a cracking film all the way through. But seriously, that first bit is just like one of the best scenes like in horror. Like if you make a list of the 20 best moments in horror, that opening scene there is just, I mean, it's right up there. Easy peasy.
And it's got a zombie baby in as well. You don't often see zombie babies in zombie movies, so credit where credit is due for that. It's a great film. Like I didn't expect it to be this good, and I should also say it's a remake of Dawn of the Dead, titled, which I've got here, which is titled Zombie, but I've got the 3D version, 3D.
Oh wow! Yeah. So there we go. Dawn of the Dead isn't excellent. And the next movie is Day of the Dead, directed by Steve Miner of all people. I'm guessing 2016. No, 2008.
2008, mate. Yes, that's right. Day of the Dead, 2008, directed by Steve Miner, who did House, Halloween H2O, and Warlock. And the budget for this bad boy was 18 million, which surprised me.
Never.
Mate.
Seriously.
It's 18 million, mate. Trivia. Despite the title, most of this movie takes place at night, which I've got to say, mate, I've got to say, I dislike this movie.
Me too.
I dislike this movie big time. It's a piece of shit. You know, I was very surprised at that 18 million budget, mate, because I've got no idea what they spent that money on. They must have been doing coke in the parking lot, mate. There must have been strippers waiting in every toilet in that production office, and there must have been cocaine laid on every table, because I cannot understand where they've waxed 18 million on that, because it wasn't on the production design, it wasn't on the gore, it wasn't on the story, it wasn't on the script or anything like that. I thought this was a turgid movie.
Yeah.
It's god awful for me, so I'm saying god awful.
Yeah, well, let's not waste time. I agree. It's an absolute load of tosh. I think it might be Steve Miner's worst film ever. So let's stick that in awful, because it's dreadful. Nobody should watch that movie. There's no point. It's a waste of time. No. The next movie is Dracula from 1992. Could that be right?
1992, mate. Yeah, that's correct. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola, who of course made The Godfather. The budget for this movie was 40 million. Trivia: in an attempt to elicit more emotion, producer and director Francis Ford Coppola shouted "whore" and "slut" at Winona Ryder whilst filming the scene when Van Helsing catches her with Dracula. There you go. That's one way to do it. That's but you know, old school directors. You know, you've got like Friedkin would do crazy shit. He would fire guns on set and all this. You know, these guys, Coppola, Friedkin, they were the last of the crazy people. You know, and Hollywood got wise to them because they stopped giving them $100 million for movies and stuff like that. We said, well, actually, we think you're talented, but you're fucking insane, and we have no idea what quality product you're going to actually give us back for our money, you know. We all know, you know, the stories about Apocalypse Now and everything like that. Anyway, so what did I think of Dracula 1992? I went to the cinema. I think
I went with you.
Yeah. I think we went together. Yeah, I think we went together, mate, back in the day. And I remember coming out for a couple of days going, and literally, you know, my mother would say, you know, Pete, what's the time? And I go, and I was answering everybody for days of that. I think this movie looks beautiful. You know, I think
it's a lush movie. Yeah,
it is. The production, every shot of it is well planned out and executed perfectly. You know, it's great. The bad points, you know, it purely there's one, and it's Keanu Reeves. You know, he's not very good in it. Like, you know, he completely rips you out with the fucking movie, like Keanu Reeves, and that. You know, what was it? It was like, where you going? And he goes, Budapest. I'm going to Budapest. And you're like, nah, he doesn't sound Old English at all. He's supposed to be like, yeah, English. I'm going to Budapest. He just sounds like Bill and Ted. Exactly. Exactly. Gary Oldman's excellent in it. I like the vampire stuff. I like Sadie Frost in it. She's hot and sexy in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice movie. I think, I'm not going to give it...
what about Anthony Hopkins? Anthony Hopkins is brilliant in this movie, man. He's so good in this movie.
And it was
right funny as well. It's funny as well.
Yeah. I'm not going to give this movie, all-time classic. I'm going to give it excellent, mate, because ultimately, what the thing that let this movie down for me, it's a feckin' love story. Ultimately, it's a feckin' love story.
Yeah, it is a long movie as well, isn't it?
Exactly. So I'm going to go with excellent, mate.
Yeah, let's do that, man. I'll go along with that. To be honest, I haven't watched it in a really, really long time, but I've always been a big fan of it. I especially like the bit where he turns into a wolf. I always like that scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I think the wolf is actually it's not Gary Oldman, because I was reading that he was allergic to the latex stuff. So he tried it on him and it went really, really bad. So it's a stuntman.
All right. Okay. So the next movie is The Evil Dead 2013.
That's right. So Evil Dead 2013, I have just here, and it's obviously based on the original Evil Dead.
Hold on. Keep it up. Show us again. Yeah. There you go. So, nice.
Based on Evil Dead and The Evil Dead.
Dude, how is Evil Dead on 4K? The original Evil Dead, how is it on 4K?
Because
is that 4K?
4K.
All right. How does it look?
It looks nice, mate.
It look all right.
Yeah, it looks nice. It's from the original negative, so it looks nice.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, you've got to see Poltergeist in 4K. Fuck me, it's gorgeous. It sounds beautiful and it looks beautiful. Shit you not. Poltergeist is amazing. Anyway. So let me see. It's Evil Dead 2013, directed by Fed Alvarez, who made Don't Breathe, and who's also making the new Aliens movie, which just started production, which is quite exciting.
Is he? What?
Yeah. What? It's called. It's called Alien something like Contagion or something daft like that. But there's a new Alien movie. Fed Alvarez is doing it, and for me, you can't pick a better director to do it. Like I think he's quality. I've been raving about this guy ever since I saw his short on YouTube, Panic Attack, back in the day. And when I found out he got the Evil Dead gig on the back of his short, Panic Attack, I was over the moon. I think he's a great director. So the budget for this one was 17 million, mate. In 2015, Channel 4, UK channel, premiered the movie on terrestrial TV. Channel 4 showed the alternative cut of the film, running an extra 4 minutes and 10 seconds. It is not known where this cut came from, but it is assumed that Studio Canal provided the alternative print in error to Channel 4. So there's this extended cut that everybody was screaming for, showing a bunch of stuff that was in the trailer, all the stuff that was in the trailer that wasn't in the movie. Everyone was raving for it, and they accidentally give it to Channel 4 and they put it on TV. So after that, it meant that you could buy the extended cut.
That's nuts.
Aye. Whoops-a-daisy.
Okay. How is the extended cut? How is it?
It's good, mate. Do I prefer the original? I mean, the original's a little bit tighter, but the extended cut has the guy going into the tool shed, getting all tooled up, and that going get some and all this, and it's good. It's good. It has the bit in the where the monster. In the basement, she's in the wee cellar door thing, and she's singing "Hush, Little Baby, Don't Say a Word." Don't say a word. She's singing the nursery rhyme that's on the trailer. It isn't in the movie,
lullaby.
But it's in the lullaby. So I really like it. For me, mate, Evil Dead 2013 is it's one of my favorite remakes. I watch this movie quite a lot. I probably watch it at least once a year. I've showed my kids it, and they have a really good time with it. I think it's fucking. I think it's a roller coaster. I love the practical effects in this movie. My only snag of this movie, my only kind of snag in this movie is maybe the last 2 minutes are a little bit meh. You know, the main bad guy comes about, and it's nothing more than what we've already seen. So that's a little bit disappointing. But apart from that, mate, I think it's visceral. I think it's great, and it might be controversial, mate. I actually dig this more than the original. I get more out of this movie than I do the original. And I love the original. Don't get me wrong, I love the original, but I get more out of this than I do the original. For me personally, this is an all-time classic. I'll be revisiting this movie.
Yeah, dude. I agree with every single thing you say, and I like it more than the original as well. Let's just whack it straight up there. It's just a brilliant film, absolutely brilliant. Not as good as Evil Dead 2, but it's damn close.
Absolutely. Oh, incidentally, mate, Evil Dead 2. Have you seen my Japanese Dead by Dawn poster there, mate? It's sweet.
Okay.
That's the Japanese Dead by Dawn poster. Anyway, sorry, mate.
Yeah. That's nice, man. Right, the next one is Firestarter. Let's do that quick because I'm not even going to put the trailer on. We all know what this movie is.
Yeah. So Firestarter 2022, directed by Keith Thomas, who previously done The Vigil. The budget on this was 15 million. Trivia: after receiving backlash for nominating 12-year-old Ryan Kira Armstrong for the Razzie Awards for Worst Actress, the Razzies have introduced an age limit, allowing for nobody under the age of 18 to be nominated, and have removed her name from the ballot because she's a child and they don't want to hurt children's feelings. About taking part, Vass, it's not about winning and losing, even though she lost badly with this film. Badly. You know, my thought on this film, I think it's a terrible film, incidentally, it's based on the original Firestarter. So I think this is a terrible film. The best thing about this is the John Carpenter score, but, you know, it's... What can you do? You know, I'll buy a CD, not watch a movie. So, I'm going to put this in awful, mate. Awful. It's an awful film.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like a low effort remake, and it's just not fun at all. There's like no enjoyment. Everything's so like serious and like just there's nothing to attach yourself to in that movie. Everyone is just like, yeah. No, I hate it, mate. I hated it. It was like you said, the only good thing about it was the music.
Yeah.
I'm not even interested to see any alternative ending or anything like that. It couldn't make any better because it's beyond redemption. Let's stick that in awful. Can you see that? Have I got that? Yep. All right. Right there it is in. I've put it not seen. Duh. Yeah. Stick it in awful. There we go. And can I just have a quick look? So we've got 4 in awful, 3 in bad. 5 in decent, okay. 1 in very good, and 3 in excellent, and 1 all-time classic.
Nice.
Right, let's continue. And the next one, oh my god, is the Flatliners remake.
Flatliners,
which is hideous, man. It's so bad.
It is. So Flatliners 2017, directed by some chap called Niles Arden Oplev, who, interestingly enough, made The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the original, which was actually a really good film. The budget was 19 million.
Really?
Trivia. Yeah, 19 million. Trivia, at the end of the movie, a voiceover says some lines should not be crossed, which is the tagline from the 1990s version, because, you know, that's all the trivia you can find on this fucking film. I watched this for the first time this week, mate, and it was a tough watch because so shit. Unlikable characters, every single one of them, you know. Even Kiefer Sutherland is unlikable.
Boring, man. Movie. Seriously, the original's so good.
Totally.
I know.
It's
I know, man. And he's so good in the original. Like the whole cast in the original is just like, it's a fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies. The original Flatliners. It's like such a good watch all the way through. Awesome story. And this one, they just dropped the ball on absolutely everything. The cast, the way the story unfolds. It looks like the original is like one stylish film, like for like a mainstream movie. It's super stylish. And it's like got an emotional thing to it, the original, but this one, man, it's like flat and cold and it's horrible, man. It's so bad. Just stick it in awful.
Stick it in awful, mate. Yeah, stick it in awful. For me, it was incoherent. It didn't make much fucking sense, and that's unforgivable.
Right, mate. Next one is it's The Fly.
But before we go on The Fly, should we check on comments? Because it's been a while.
Yeah, go on. Oh shit! Is the people watching? I totally forgot. I was well into this. Sorry, dudes. I was well into it. Right. Hassan was around about an hour ago. He said hello. Should I put one on the screen as well? Maybe I should.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Is it coming on the screen? Right. Face, orange, biting nails. Got to see 13 Ghosts in the theaters. 8 out of 10. Booster likes that one. He likes House on Haunted Hill as well. We're going to be coming around that pretty soon. But it's got crappy CGI at the end. Yeah. And he didn't like Nightmare on Elm Street. Most people don't like the remake. And they did change Freddy a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you. Should do. Dave says, I like the Friday the 13th remake, but also I found it at times tiresome, and they gave us body count, which I thought was kind of odd. 8 out of 10. Sounds like a good score to me. Seth's in the house. Hello, Seth, mate. And Dave says he thought My Bloody Valentine 3D was fun. He gives it a 9 out of 10. He really likes that one. Must be the naked lady running around.
I'll tell you
for
what,
10 minutes in the movie.
You do need to lie down, Dave.
Right. What was the next movie again? I've totally forgotten. It was The Fly.
The Fly.
I got The Fly.
So The Fly was from 1986. It's directed by David Cronenberg, who made Rivet and Crash. The budget for this movie was $15 million. Trivia. Star Jeff Goldblum wrote Vincent Price a letter saying, I hope you like it as much as I liked yours. Price was touched by the letter and composed a reply that went on to say, a reply and went to see the film, which he described as wonderful right up to a certain point. It went a little too far. So Vincent Price liked it, but he probably kind of switched off.
Sounds like sour grapes.
Yeah, well, either that or he was like that. You know, is that his dick in the bathroom cabinet? I think that's probably where he went. Ooh, my version never did that. But you know, yeah. what can you say about The Fly for me, mate? It's a movie I have to say that I've got a lot of respect for and I like a lot. It's a movie that I don't revisit, and I know some people do. You know, they hold it very dear to their hearts. I every time I watch it, I'm engrossed in it. And you know, Jeff Goldblum's amazing in this movie, and it's also a really sad film as well. You know, I feel for his character. I don't want him to turn into a fly. And even that bit where the fly thing grabs the shotgun in the head and goes, "Kill me, kill me." Yeah, it's sad. So I'm going to give this excellent film, Ned. I think it's an excellent film. I don't. For me, it's not an all-time classic, although I know it is an all-time classic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you haven't given a reason why it's not an all-time classic, dude, because it's an all-time classic. What's wrong with you, dude?
Yeah, just because I don't know.
To be honest, it is a bit icky. The movie is icky to watch. There's a lot of scenes in there. That's probably why you don't come back and watch it a lot. It's icky as fuck. Like the bit where he spews on his leg and his legs start melting away and all those bits. So, yeah.
That's it. I mean, you know, this sounds really bad, mate, but I kind of like The Fly 2 more.
No, get out of here.
I like The Fly 2 more, man. You know, give me a bit of Eric Stoltz.
Hang on. I can't let that go. Just hang on. I can't let that go. Hold on. I cannot let that go.
Motherfucker's gone crazy, man.
You
tripping, motherfucker.
I can't believe you just said that, dude.
It's got the best.
That's not true.
It's got the best head crush scene ever filmed in this.
That's like 2 seconds of the movie, dude.
It's got the best face ripping off scene in a movie, man, where he vomits on the security guard's face and he goes, and he just takes it all off. Man, brilliant. I love it. But no, listen, I think this is an.
And it's got Daphne Zuniga in it.
It does. And she's the sure thing, man. She's the sure thing.
Yes, yeah. I've got it in my set. I've not even opened it yet, so I don't think I've seen The Fly 2 bloody since it came out. But I don't remember liking it very much. I thought The Fly looked shit. It looked like it was like walking on legs, and
it's very green now. It's very green in this one. It's green fly.
I'll never get over you saying that, like, dude.
Sorry. No, listen. I think it's an excellent film. I just don't revisit it. Something about it kind of leaves me a little bit cold. But I think it's an excellent film, and no doubt for the majority of people, an absolute classic.
Yeah. Can you do me a favor, Pete? Just one more time. Can you say you prefer The Fly 2? Can you just do it for us? Go on.
I think I like The Fly 2 better, mate. It's fun.
Will you shut up?
That was worth it. Oh man. Right. Okay. I don't ever say that to me again, Pete. Seriously, man. Okay. We ain't gonna be friends anymore.
I'll keep that to myself from now.
Right. I don't care. I'm gonna put it in all-time classic, Pete, because you don't know shit. You don't know fucking shit. Honestly. We didn't even spend 5 minutes on that movie, man. You just could have just whacked it straight up there. Don't want to hear any more of your nonsense. Right, speaking of nonsense, what's your opinion on Friday the 13th, the remake, which I believe is 2009 Platinum Dunes classic?
Correct, yeah.
Shout out to Platinum Dunes. Killing it, Platinum Dunes.
The Friday the 13th remake of the original Friday the 13th, 2009.
I've got the exact same copy of that.
Okay.
Go on, continue.
Yeah, directed by a chap called Marcus Nispel, who made the Conan remake and also the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. The budget.
You're not a fan of it, Pete. You're not a fan of it, Pete. You're not a fan of it, mate.
I know you like it. Trivia: producer Michael Bay allegedly walked out of the movie premiere, stating that the movie featured far too much sex. So that's the wee bit of.
It does, like that's the only thing I don't like about it.
Yeah, listen, I watched this this week. I revisited this week because I remember seeing it and not remembering much about it.
Did you really?
Yeah. So I watched it again this week. And I thought it was all right, mate. I thought, as a slasher.
That's not what you said before. That's not what you said before.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I was a little bit harsh.
You didn't like it.
Yeah, maybe I was a little bit harsh.
Okay.
Maybe I was a little bit harsh.
Nice to hear.
Yeah. Say again.
It's nice to hear.
Oh yeah,
it's nice to hear. You can admit when you're wrong.
Exactly. So maybe it was a little bit harsh. I enjoyed it. I thought it kind of bounced along quite nicely. The pacing was nice. The kills were nice and inventive and everything like that. There is an absolute ton of good-looking naked women in this movie, man. Which is good, man. It harks back to proper 80s slashers, that kind of thing. So I've got to respect that. Yeah, it's perfectly serviceable, perfectly watchable. I didn't hate it at all. For me, I'm going to put this as a decent movie, man. Decent movie.
You know what, mate? I'll agree with you. I like the first time I watched this, I didn't like it. I thought it was really mean spirited, and it just didn't feel like a Friday the 13th movie to me. Mm-hmm. Then I watched it again not so long ago, and I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. I thought it was really good. It's like they've mashed up. It feels like they've mashed up a couple of movies in one. Because there's a lot going on, isn't there? Even that first that first 10-20 minutes, it's like it feels like almost like a full movie. There's amount of stuff that happens in it, and then that's just the beginning of the movie. And it's then you have a whole new set of people come in, and it's like, yeah, man. I think they did a really good job. Incidentally, it's another trailer. If I were to put the sound on here, there'd be no nobody talking. There's no voiceover on this. It's just the clips, and that's all you get on this. As with all the Platinum Dunes trailers, it's something I noticed, but I think I've already said that anyway. But yeah, I like Friday. Let me get out of the screen, dude. So yeah, I think it's a good movie. So let's stick it in. Did you say just good? No, very good. Stick it very decent. Good.
But if you want to stick it in very good, stick it in very good.
No. I don't know, man. I think it's very good. Let's take it decent. Just for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's take it in decent.
Okay.
The next movie is Fright Night from, hold on, 2012, dude.
Fright Night is
that
from
right?
2011. 2011, almost there, mate, almost there. So from 2011, it's
so close.
directed by Craig Gillespie, who made Cruella and I, Tonya. The budget for this one was 30 million, so they put a bit of money behind it, which is good. Trivia: in an interview with Empire, Tom Holland, the writer and director of the original film, stated that he disliked this movie immensely. So Tom Holland didn't like this movie, but do you know what, Tom?
Really?
I quite like this movie. You know, I think it's on Disney Plus at the moment, so I watched it a few months back, and I quite like it. Colin Farrell's really good in it. Is it Anton Yelchin?
Yes,
he's good in it. Yeah, he's good in it. McLovin is in it, and he's quite good in it as well. And I really like the Doctor Who dude, David Tennant. I thought he really plays a good part in it. It's perfectly. On Tony,
I wasn't a big fan of him. He's no Roddy McDowell. He's no Roddy McDowell.
No. Listen, and let's get this clear. The original is far superior. It's a far superior movie. Let's get this clear. Yeah. But I thought this one was funny, light, and breezy. Didn't take itself too seriously. Colin Farrell was clearly having a good time, and he made me have a good time with it as well. I'm going to put this in very good, mate. For me, very good.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there, mate. This is one of the surprisingly good remakes. When people ask me about good remakes, this is one that always kind of pops up because it's one that it's just a really good film. I mean, they've changed it enough to keep it interesting, but it's kind of got the same heart as the original has. I think they did a really good job with this one. It's got some nice little touches in it as well. Like there's the scene in the car where the camera's kind of just whizzing around the car on the inside. Yeah. And there's some nice, and it's the 3D's not bad either. You've seen it in 3D, haven't you?
I have, mate. Yes. Yeah. No,
it's not the dark bits, but the rest of it, the 3D's quite decent. I'll agree with them, mate. I think it's very good. Let's stick that there. Very good. So Friday Night Remake is very good. Good job. Yeah. Look, I'm happy. I think Friday Night's a better movie than Friday the 13th, 2009. So I'm happy that's there. And Friday the 13th is where it is. So that's good. And the next one is do this one quick peek because I ain't seen it. I know you've seen it, but you've already talked about it. It's Goodnight Mommy from last year, is it? Or is it this year?
2022, you're absolutely right. So it was directed by Matt Sobel, who's made something called Take Me to the River, which I'll never see. Budget for this one is unknown. I couldn't find it anywhere. Trivia for this one, it's Naomi Watts' 7th remake. She is the queen of remakes.
Whoa!
I know, 7th remake. Anyway, very quickly, it's turgid. It completely misses the point of the material that was given to them in the original. It kind of oversimplifies things. It over-explains things. It over-Americanizes the plot of the movie. I'm going to put this in awful, mate. I was offended by this movie, so awful for me.
Yeah, let's grab it and let's stick it in awful. And the next one, okay, can you see what I did there? All right, good. The next one is Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Rob Zombie's Halloween.
2009. 2009?
2007, my man. So it was directed by Rob Zombie.
Is it?
Corpses. The budget for this one is, the budget for this one is 15 million, man. 15 million. Trivia. Really? The movie's production was delayed due to the death of Mustafa Akkad, the producer of all 8 previous movies. Akkad died of severe injuries.
I remember that.
As a result of terrorist attacks in Jordan in 2005. But do you know what, Mr. Akkad? As tragic as your demise was, at least you didn't get to see the Empire, as presented by Rob Zombie. So maybe you got off with it there, man. But you are dealing with this. Right. Okay. We've talked about this movie quite a lot, mate. So I'll make this really quick on my side. It's awful. Everything about this movie is awful. It's dirty. It's grimy. It does its own thing for about 45, 50 minutes, and then it decides to be a Halloween remake for the final 40 minutes, which is almost shot for shot, but done like shit. Rob Zombie's not a talented director, and Sherry Moon shouldn't be on celluloid
really
whatsoever. So it's awful, mate. It was a really bad idea, and rest in peace, Mr. Akkad. But that was a bad move, giving that to Rob Zombie. I tell you, you know what I mean. It was, I wouldn't be surprised if Rob Zombie said, "Oh, thanks for giving me the gig, Mr. Akkad. Here's 2 tickets for that concert in Jordan this weekend, just as a little thank you for giving me the gig." I wouldn't be surprised if Rob Zombie bought him them plane tickets, man. But anyway, that's just speculation. I'm probably wrong there. But awful movie.
Yeah, honestly, man, everything you said there, I could associate with Halloween 2. But that Halloween, it's not as bad as I remembered it. It had some things going for it, dude. It had some things going for it. At least they did something different. I don't know. I wouldn't call it awful. I wouldn't call it awful. Just bad.
Bassy,
but hell, if you want to put it in there, Halloween 2, I'll put in awful. But this one, it's not that bad. It really isn't that bad. Overlong, but it doesn't feel like a Halloween movie, despite the music. But
stick it in bad. Then.
Yeah,
I can live with bad.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want it in awful, I'll put it in there. I don't have a problem with it. I'm not gonna fight for this movie. I've got no dog in this fight. If you want to put it in awful, I'll put it in awful. Yeah, that's fine, man.
Do it.
It's not like I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie at all. He can go fuck himself. Right, and the next one is tell him I said it as well.
I will.
Beady bastard. Right, the next one is House of Wax 2005. What do you think of that, mate?
Directed by I can't pronounce this guy's name. Kwame Colette Serra, who's also made Black Adam, Jungle Cruise, The Shallows, Orphan, and a fuckload of Liam Neeson movies.
Okay, I didn't know he made that movie.
Yeah, he did. Budget on this one was 40 million. Trivia: aside from the title and the setting in a wax museum, the film has
40 million. Was it really?
Yeah, the film has no connection to the original film House of Wax in terms of plot. So that's your tidbit for this one. This movie, mate, I remember watching it when it came out, and do you know what? I kind of liked it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was suitably creepy. Some of the kills were quite nice. Paris Hilton gets killed, which is awesome. I love that. Oh, there you go. And I really like Alicia Cuthbert. She was my pin-up girl at the time. I'd just seen the girl next door, and I thought she was amazing. And Alicia Cuthbert. So
you like the short ones, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to give this very good for me, mate. Very good. I don't think it's a very good movie, but it's very good.
Yeah, no, I like this movie. Yeah, me too, Pete. I like this movie a lot. It's really good. It takes a little time to get going, but it's a fine movie. Right, let's stick that in. Let's get it on the screen first. I don't know what's going on with my thing. It keeps shouting at me, my computer. Yeah, right. Right, let's stick House of Wax in very good, because it's
surprisingly very good.
There we go.
Yeah.
And the next one is totally. And there's another one with a really good production value as well, especially at the end where everything's melting, like the whole bloody thing is melting, isn't it? The whole museum.
Totally.
Right, the next one is I Am Legend from. Hold on, give me a second.
Do it.
2012.
It was 2007, my friend. It's directed.
Oh, was it? Oh, way off.
Yeah, you were way off on that one. Directed by Francis Lawrence, who made The Hunger Games and Constantine. The budget for this film was 150 million. Trivia: some of the mannequins in the video store were played by real people. If you look closely in the scene, you can see them move. There you go. Now, let me see. This film, right? Now, I've got to start off by saying, mate, I Am Legend, the book by Richard Matheson, is my favorite book in the world. Okay, right? This is my copy of I Am Legend. It's a dime store from like the 60s. It's signed by Matheson himself. I love this book, and I made this little display, and these are for comic book inserts from the Steve Niles comic version of the book. And if I don't know if I hold this up to the camera, I don't know if you can see the pictures there. Right. Anyway, the vampires, mate. The vampires.
About, yeah.
I Am Legend is about fucking vampires, and they stand outside his door every night going, "Come out, Neville! Come out, Neville!" The neighbours, they remember him, and they haunt him every single day. And they throw naked women in front of the door because they realise it's been 10 years since he's been laid to try and coax him out of the property. And that it's a scary fucking book. So, what I will say, mate, is about the Will Smith version of I Am Legend. There's half a movie in here that I really like. I really like the first half of this movie. It's just really good. It's some of Will Smith's best acting. I think the production is there. The empty streets are absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Flashbacks work for me as well. I really like it. The character study, the dog and everything like that, although the dog's slightly changed from the book. It feels like an I Am Legend adaptation. Where it goes awry is the CG nasties that come out in the second half that will, for me, completely take you out of the movie. And they're not fucking vampires, and they should be fucking vampires. I really want an actual adaptation of I Am Legend, please. Yeah. So for me, it's a movie of two halves, this. I give the first half of the movie a solid 9 out of 10, and I give the second half of the movie like a 4 out of 10. It's Scorpion King level bad CGI in the second half of this film, and I Am Legend 2 apparently is coming out. It's being greenlit, and they're going to make it, but they're going to make it based off. Yeah, they're making it based off the ending that wasn't actually in the movie. They're basing it off the alternative ending that was on the DVD. And I'm thinking, well, hang fire there, Hollywood. You can't do that. You made a decision to put this ending in the fucking movie. You can't just say, well, if you've owned the DVD, you've seen how we wanted it to really end. No. How you wanted it to really end was the way you stuck it up there on screen. Surely. Anyway. So I'm going to give this movie very good. I'm going to give it very good. Yeah,
I'll agree with you there, mate. I really enjoy this movie. And every time I watch it, I have a great time. Yeah, let's just stick it in there. Let me just get that back on the screen. I Am Legend, very good. Yeah, I'll totally agree with that, mate. I don't think the CGI is that bad, mate. Honestly, it's not that bad at all. Especially when they're smashing through the thing. He's trying to tell them to calm down, and they're smashing through the glass. I thought it was quite convincing.
You know, the nice and visceral.
I've seen a lot worse, mate. I've seen a lot worse.
I have seen worse. To be fair.
Yeah. Right. The next one is Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978. And we've already been through this on our Best Year in Horror, 1978. So let's make this one quick.
Make this one quick. So Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978, directed by Philip Kaufman, who also made Rising Sun, The Wanderers, and Quills. The budget for this one was $3.5 million. Trivia: Donald Sutherland was hit by a Volkswagen Beetle while filming a shot of Matthew and Elizabeth running. He fell onto the windshield and was able to see the driver saying, "Oh God, not you." So nice one, Donald Sutherland. Imagine that, the clumsy waiter. You've just run over the clumsy waiter and he's on top of your car. That's a nightmare. I think this is a all-time classic, mate. I rate Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I find it scary and bloody depressing, and it's more relevant today than I think it was when it was made. I think it's great. There's nothing much I have bad to say at all about this film. So very quick for me, all-time classic.
Yeah, completely agree. I love this movie. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's very, very atmospheric, very, very creepy. It's just a cracking good story, and it's told really well. And the casting is spectacular in this movie, man. Everyone just kills it, man. Every single different person in the movie just does their thing perfectly. And it's iconic as well, isn't it? Especially the end bit. All that business. Yeah. It's worth watching the movie just for that thing. It's totally worth watching. I love it, mate. Without question, it's absolute classic. So let's stick it where it goes.
No problem.
Didn't get halfway through that trailer there. We're on to the next one. All-time classic. And the next one is I Spit on Your Grave, unrated. Dude, I don't think I've seen this movie. Have you seen it?
I have it. I have this movie. I saw it and I picked it up.
Oh my
for
god,
Tuesday on
that's
Blu-ray, and
a shock, dude.
yeah. So I have this movie.
Okay.
So, I Spit in Your Grave from 2010. It's directed by a chap called Stephen R. Munro, who made It Waits and Unborn. I don't think I've seen any of them. The budget for this was $2 million. Trivia: according to Stephen R. Munro, the studio submitted the uncut version of the film to the MPAA to see if they could change anything to get an R rating. The MPAA came back and said, look, you've got an NC-17 movie here, but we don't recommend that you cut it because we feel like it's quite impactful. They then decided against editing the film and released it unrated so it could play in more theaters. Listen, in comparison to the original film, this one it's actually quite a well-told story. It's quite well shot and everything like that. The subject matter is equally as unpleasant, and it is quite an unpleasant movie to watch. It's one that I own, yes, but I've only seen it once. I've got no hankerings to go back and watch it again, but I do remember the kills are very kind of graphic and the practical effects being very, very good. Some of it's quite hard to watch, as you can imagine. But it serves its purpose. It's certainly not an all-time classic. It's certainly not an excellent movie. I'm going to put it very good because it does elicit reactions, and everybody in its performance-wise are quite good. The bad guys are suitably bad. You dislike them, and they do their part quite well. So I'm going to give it very good, mate.
Wow, that surprised me. That has, but I've not seen it. I've not seen the original. It's just not my thing. But so I'll go with you, Pete. Let's just get it in there. Very good. I'm really surprised that was very good. Maybe I should. No, I'm not going to watch it.
Well, yeah. Is it better than the Dark Water remake? Yeah. So I've got to put it up a category higher for sure.
Right. Okay, then let's go to the next one, and it's It Chapter 1. I had to put both It's in there because it's both movies is the full movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
It Chapter 1's just half the film, so I had to put both in there.
When I did my spiel here, I just put It 2017 and It 2019 Chapter 2, both directed by Andy Muschietti, who's done Mama, the new Flash movie, and apparently he's attached to make a Hollywood version of Attack on Titan. Budget was $35 million for the first part and $79 million for the second part. The trivia on this is in part 2, Pennywise has only 7 minutes of dialogue in the entire movie. That kind of makes sense. So let's do part 1. Right. Yeah, apparently so. So part 1 first for me, mate. I went to see this one at the cinema. I really love the setup. I love the first thing. I like when the boy gets his arm ripped off. And I thought, oh, holy shit, this is going to be a proper horror movie. This one, good. I'm sure you were a nice kid, but I really love seeing that you've got your arm ripped off, mate, and you're crying. This is good. But it never reached those. I never got the chills again in part 1 after that. It's got some effective scenes, and I like Pennywise. I think Bill Skarsgård is perfectly good at Pennywise. Tim Curry's better, but but he's still good. I think they're both two different animals, and it's very slick and. But ultimately, there's a lot of CGI in this movie, man, which takes you right out of it. And a lot of the CGI effects, I swear, they're right out of the movie Mama, which I just watched a year bit prior to it. Some of the ghouls, they're right out of the movie Mama. So I'm saying it wasn't particularly a stretch for the director coming up with new and inspirational things. So I didn't get. I thought it was a very good film. Part 1. I
remember watching this at the cinema. Yeah, go on.
I'm saying by the end of part 1, I was signed up for part 2. So I guess it served its purpose.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember when it came out, went to see it at the pictures, and I was super disappointed when it came out the pictures after I'd seen it because it wasn't scary. And at that time I wasn't watching much stuff at the cinema, and I made the effort to go out there, and I was like, I didn't enjoy it one little bit. And it took me 4 watches in the years up to the part 2 coming out. It took me 4 watches to like get into the movie, and now I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I really like the movie. It just I don't know what was stopping me. I think because I love the original so much, and seriously, for a 3-hour TV movie, I can put that sucker on and watch it straight through and just have like the best time. Just like go away to like a world sort of thing, you know, a proper escape watching the original. I still prefer it, but this one, I'm a fan now. I've got to say, I'm a fan of this one. But it did take me a while. I always thought it was like, felt like it was like a Goonies horror film.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like a proper horror film. But then, you know, I took the time to just watch it over and over again, and it just got it in my head that, you know, it's a good film. I just appreciate it, and it's a really good movie. So where are we going to put it? You thought very good, yeah?
I thought very good, but you know, if you want to put this higher, mate, put it higher.
Yeah, I do. I want to put it in excellent because it's a movie that won me over from being disappointed by it to thinking I think it's the bee's knees, to be honest. I remember after it came out, I was reading all these reviews and everyone was loving it, and I was like, "What are you talking about? It's just not that good." But now I agree with him. I think it's wicked. So yeah, if you don't mind, I'm going to put it in. Can you see that or not? I'll put it in excellent. Yeah. Cool. Right, and the next one is It Chapter 2.
So It Chapter 2.
How do you think that compares?
It's a little bit more action-packed. It Chapter 2, it's got a lot more going on in there, and it's a little bit more... Pennywise is a little bit more mean-spirited in this. You know, I think the bit where at the House of Mirrors, where he kills that kid, is a really effective scare. Listen, for me, you know, it's much the same as the first. You know, I think it's a very good movie. I didn't, you know, I think it always falls down on its ending. I think the original version falls down on its ending, and I think Chapter 2 also falls down on that ending as well. It's a difficult one. I'm actually quite looking forward to the prequel series, just because it's actually just Pennywise, and we won't have that ending where there's a spider and whatnot.
What's that called? Welcome to Derry or something like that?
Welcome to Derry. That's right.
What's
that's
it called?
Right. So, Welcome to Derry. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, I'm going to give it very good, mate. Very good.
Yeah. You know, strangely, this one is the one where after I watched it, everyone else wasn't keen on it, but I thought it was really good. So it was like the totally opposite from the first one, where I didn't like it and everyone loves it. But this one, like, I thought it was really good, and I've watched it a couple of times, and I really like it. But the ending is a bit shit. Yeah. The ending is kind of just spoil it. It's as bad as the ending on the original. It's no better. But yeah, it's not as good as It Chapter 1, but I think it's a fine movie. Long, bloody long. But long. Yeah. So where do you want to put it, Pete?
Well, I said very good, but if you want to put it in excellent with its first chapter, I'm happy. I'll let you have that.
No. It's definitely not as good as the first one. So let's stick it in very good. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to think we put that too high, but I'm happy with that. And the next one is Maniac. We've already covered this, so let's do this quick as we can, dude.
Do this quick. Okay, so Maniac was directed by Frank Calfone, who also made P2 and Amityville: The Awakening. The budget for this was $6 million. Trivia: through his though his dialogue was recorded in post-production, thought that was the case, and not always on camera, Elijah Wood was present throughout the filming. He stood behind the cinematographer and camera operator throughout the course of the filming. Trivia. Maniac is an atmospheric piece. It looks good. It's shot well. It's the music scores is very, very good. The kills are effective. It's a wee bit depressing, right enough. And Elijah Wood's voiceover, which is what it is a little bit jarring. You don't particularly believe that he is actually physically there at that point in time, because the tone in his voice doesn't match the actions in front of the camera. But alternatively, for what it is, for what it sets out to do, I think it does it perfectly. And so I'm going to say this is a very good film. Do I want to give it excellent? No, I'm going to say very good. Very good.
Yeah, that's all right. I think you like it a bit more than I do, but yeah, it's a very enjoyable film. I liked it a lot more the second time. Music's really, really good in this movie. Yeah, let's just stick it in very good. Worthy sequel. I've still not seen the original though, dude. I've still not seen it. Have you?
No, still not, mate. I don't really want to, though, to be fair. I don't really want to.
Still don't want to see it.
No.
People saying it's brilliant, you know. People say it's really, really good.
No.
But I'll get there eventually.
Yeah,
And the next one is the Martyrs remake, mate.
So, Martyrs. Now, Martyrs for me, well, incidentally, I've just got to tell you, I watched this week for the first time. I actually had to pay for this, mate, because I couldn't find a copy anywhere. So,
okay.
£2.29 it cost us anyway. So Martyrs, for me, just to set my stall out, is a masterpiece. I think it's a masterpiece. I think the way it's shot is absolutely superb. I think some of the performances in the movie, I'm going to say it, Oscar worthy, and that they're completely compelling. I think it is. It's Marmite of a film. You're either going to, get a lot out of this movie, or you're really going to hate it, because it doesn't make you feel nice and clean and happy by the time the end of the movie. That's for sure. You feel, if it's worked on you, you'll go away and have a good think about it, and it stays with you. But I love it. But let's get on to the remake that I watched this week. So Martyrs 2015, directed by the Goetz brothers, who'd made Wrecked and A Violent Separation. The budget for this thing was $1 million. Okay, $1 million. So a low budget affair. So trivia: producer Jason Blum has since said remaking Martyrs destroyed the original in every way, and the remake never should have existed. Now, interestingly enough, people forget that this movie was a Blumhouse movie, and it's the first and only movie. It's the first and only movie that they have never publicized whatsoever. If you look on their website, filmography and all that, blah, 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 you'll not find Martyrs 2015. So they're ashamed of it, which is pretty mental.
Yeah.
I watched it this week, mate, and it's the acting isn't great in it. The only thing I can really say on a positive side of things is some of the cinematography is quite nice. Some of it looks quite nice. It completely misses the point of the original movie. I mean, completely misses the point. It pussies out on quite a lot of the storyline as well. It pussies out on showing the any violence, much violence on screen. And the ending changes it completely unnecessarily as well, So they decided to do their own thing as well. For the first half of this movie, it's pretty much a shot-by-shot remake. And then for the second half, it goes its own little direction and does its own little thing. The movie was written by a guy called Steve something or other. I can't remember his name, but guess what this guy wrote also? The Revenant. The Revenant. A great movie.
Seriously? Wow.
Seriously.
It's a great movie, yeah.
Same writer, man. Same writer. This movie plays for over sentimentality. And at the end of the movie of the original, where all hope is gone, blah 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 blah, and there's kind of whimsical storylines going on about life after death, etc., and all that. It wins out of all that business, and instead it gives you, one of the girls becomes this horror heroine who's going to seek revenge on her captors and all that. And the fucking villains, mate, they're like Bond movie villains, the cartoonish and that. I swear, some scenes that they're sniggering in that, and the movie kind of makes out that they're not bad people at all. Well, they are bad people, but they're kind of working towards the greater good, if that makes any sense. Where the original Martyrs, you hate these people, man. You absolutely hate them. So I'm going to put this in awful, mate. I think it belongs in awful and should. If anyone hasn't seen it, don't go see the original. Don't see this whatsoever.
I've not seen it, Pete, and I would say to the people, don't watch the original either. It's not very nice. Don't watch it, dudes.
This was great.
Don't watch it. That's just my opinion. Right, okay, let's stick that in awful.
Yeah.
Right, can I just? I'm just going to check something, Pete. I'm trying to figure out how many movies we've done so far. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20.
Oh no, 31.
30.
31.
31. Look, dude, we've gone past 2 hours. you want to do this in 2 parts, man?
We might have to.
What do you think? Because we've gone 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do this in 2 parts, mate. What should we say? Break off at 11, or do you want to break now?
10:30. Let's break off at 10:30.
Break off at 10:30.
I think that'll be exactly sort of halfway there.
Yeah. Good show.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, man.
I'm good with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You talking too much, man. Move it along. Right, the next one is Mirrors from. Oh, come on, I can do this. 2009.
2008, mate. 2008.
Of course.
Nice. So it's directed by Alexandra Aja, who did Hot Tension in the Hills of Eyes remake. Budget for this one was 35 million. Trivia: the film was originally scripted as a straightforward remake of the 2003 South Korean horror film Into the Mirror, which I have somewhere. However, once Aja was brought on board, he read the script and he was dissatisfied with the particulars of the original film story. So he decided to retain the original film's basic idea involving mirrors and to incorporate a few of its scenes, but change the story dramatically. So it doesn't have much of the original Korean film story.
Oh, okay.
In that. Which, to be fair,
is it this one more supernatural?
Yeah. I mean, the original's a little bit more insinuated rather than some of the full-on effects that happen in the Kiefer Sutherland version. My thoughts on Mirrors 2008, mate, is I quite like this movie, mate. Kiefer Sutherland's always worth a watch. I think it zips along quite nicely and its scares are quite effective. Amy Smart ripping a bloody mouth open and stuff like that. I really, really like. The actual concept of the film, Into the Mirror as well, is good and it's scary. I like it. I haven't got a bad word really to say about this one, mate. For me, I'm going to give it. I don't quite think it's excellent, but I think it's very good. But you might tip the balance to excellent. See what you think of it. What did you think of it, Lass?
No, I really like this movie. I think it's one of those that's like it's just a really super enjoyable movie. It's like it just it does its thing, and it's nice to be along for the ride. I think this movie might be a little bit underrated, to be honest. I think
not many people talk about this.
It's got a lot of stuff in there. It's got a lot of stuff in there. That's like memorable. It's well made. It's quite stylish. It's nice to see Kiefer Sutherland in a proper horror film. You don't see that very often. I'm a big fan of this movie. I'll agree with you, mate. Let's stick it in. Very good. Yeah, totally. It's a very good movie, man.
Yeah.
The very definition of very good. This is it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, cool. Very good. I wonder if was this a hit, you think?
I can't remember the box office or anything like that, but it did some business. It made its budget back, and certainly Alexandra Aja kept getting movies after that. So I'm going to say it made some money.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, did a damn good job.
Right,
let's go for the next one. Oh, stop that! Just the right place. Been trying to stop them when the movie name comes up, and that's the first time I've actually got it. Anyway, right. The next one is Mother's Day from probably like 2012 or something.
Mother's Day.
I don't know.
2010, mate.
You got it, dude. You got it.
I
can't believe you got it.
I got it. This one, yeah. So Mother's Day from 2010, directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, who did Saw 2 and 11. A budget for this was 11 million. Yeah, totally. Trivia: during the filming of a scene that involved guns, the actors were pulled over and held at gunpoint by police who mistook them for people who had actually robbed a bank not far from where they're filming. After realizing that it was a big misunderstanding, the police and the film team all had a really good laugh about it. There you go.
There you go.
Yes. I've seen the original. I've seen the Trauma Mother's Day. It's not a very good film, and it's not very nice. It's quite mean spirited. I watched it when I was too young on video. Far too young. I watched this. Rebecca De Mornay is in this. She plays the mother, and she, we all know Rebecca De Mornay from The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. When she wants to play psycho, she can play a psycho really well. She plays a psycho quite well in this, and you know, it is still quite mean-spirited, but enjoyably mean-spirited. I would put this as a decent film. Yet.
Really? Wow. I've not seen it, Pete. I've not seen the original either, so I'll defer to your recommendation there, and we'll stick it in decent.
It's nothing special, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not a great recommendation, to be honest. Like, just decent. I'll be
absolutely,
watching it.
absolutely. I mean, listen, you know, sit and watch it if it's ever on telly one time. Don't, you know, I wouldn't actively seek it out. It's all right.
It doesn't seem like a movie that gets talked about very much.
No. When you look at all the horror remakes that came out, you know, this one kind of came out. It got a cinema release in the UK. I remember that, and I remember Empire giving it 3 stars. Yeah, but it was blink and you miss it. And then it was out on DVD.
Okay. So next is another movie that's not talked about very much. It's the Night of the Demons remake, which is 2010, maybe.
2009, my friend. This one was directed. I know you're so close, man. So close. But this was directed by Adam Girush, I want to say, who made Fractured and Fertile Ground. The budget for this one, and I was surprised at this, was 10 million, which is a decent amount of coin.
Wow.
Trivia. Despite the budget, this went straight to DVD. I watched this last night with Ruth. We put it on.
Yeah.
And we watched it, and I've never seen it before, and it's got Shannon Elizabeth. What I will say about this film, mate, is there's not many demons in this film. Like, there's a lot of talking, and there's a lot of like comedy, or what it thinks is comedy in this film, but there's not that much demons in this film. So was it Night of the Demons, or was it, you know, a couple of minutes of the demons? Probably a couple of minutes of the demons. But what I will say about it, mate, it has some fine women on display. So, you know, I've got to give it kudos for that. The women are absolutely fantastic. You know,
Edward Furlong.
It's got Shannon. Yeah, let me tell you about Edward Furlong. Right? Have you seen this movie, Vass?
I don't think I have.
Right. Well, Edward Furlong, right? We obviously got him last minute or something like that, right? And Edward Furlong is full in his, like, you know, it looks like he's just done a couple of lines of coke around the back and maybe half a bottle of Jack Daniels, and then come on to set to do his part, right? He's basically the fat kid that used to be in T2, right? He's carrying a bit of timber in this movie, right? And he looks fucked. You know, he's got black, his teeth are brown and all this, blah, 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 right? Yeah. But the actual part in the movie is the ex-boyfriend of one of these gorgeous girls. And you just don't buy it, man. You know, in no universe is this girl hooking up with fucking Edward Furlong in this movie, like, and there's a few bits in it where they reconcile at the end of the movie, and the boyfriend and girlfriend, and you can actually see this actress's terror on her face when she has to kiss and cuddle Edward Furlong, and then he's like that. He's like, come on, bring it in, come on, blah, 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 blah. And you can see this poor little 5-foot blonde lass going like, that's going, shit, I'm getting strangled by fat T2 kid. He's really funny, man. I have to say, he's funny. So he provides the comedy, but I think it's unintentional comedy in this. I'm going to say this is a bad movie, mate. I'm going to say, there I've said it. It's a bad movie.
Right. Okie dokie, mate. Let's stick it there. I don't quite know why I haven't seen it. Maybe it just kind of came and went pretty quick. I just didn't get a shot. To be honest, it was quite recent when I saw the original Night of the Demons, and I wasn't a big fan of that. I don't think you are either, are you?
No, not really, mate. No.
So, did you stick it in bad or awful? Can't remember.
Bad.
Bad, right.
You know,
bad.
If it wasn't for Edward Furlong, you know, it'd be an awful. But to be fair, Eddie made me laugh in this movie.
Yeah. I quite like the poster for it.
It's good. Yeah, the poster's good.
Fair. Right, yeah. Right. Let's make this the last one, Pete, because I need to go to the bathroom. All right, mate. So the last one is, and then we're going to do part 2 next week, is Night of the Living Dead. And actually, Pete, I watched this, was it today? Yesterday, last night, I think it was last night. Yeah. I watched it, and it's the first time I've seen it since it came out. So it's been 30 years since I've seen this movie. And yeah, man, it was, you know, it's a good film, but it's not a great film. it's very.
I agree.
The weird thing is, so Tom Savini directed the movie, but he doesn't do the special effects in the movie, and the special effects aren't very good in the film, especially when there's like puppets and like you can see sometimes they use puppets instead of like actors, and you can tell when they're puppets, like when the people are getting bashed, you can tell they're not real people; they're just puppets. And it looks terrible, man. But yeah, it was fine. It was like kind of workmanlike made zombie movie, and they're super slow when the zombies, man. Seriously, she was like she was saying the maid lassie in it. She was saying all the way through, they're so slow we can just walk past them. And at the end of the movie, that's how she escaped. She literally just walks past them, and then she gets to safety. All the rest of them get killed. But yeah, you know, it was fine. I'm not surprised that I haven't come back to it earlier. It's been so long since I've seen it. I didn't even know who Tony Todd was when I watched it, and I watched it now. I mean, I knew he was in it now, but when I first watched it, I had no idea. It was pre Candyman.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all right. I know a lot of people quite like the movie very much, but it's not a patch on the Dawn of the Dead remake, but it's much better than the Day of the Dead remake. But it's not as good as the original. Not even close to the original. The original's like proper good. They do change some parts of the story, and it's not for the better. No way. No, I don't know why they did it. Totally. But yeah, it was all right. And there's a couple of really annoying characters in the movie as well, because they're all stuck in the house in it, and a lot of people are just. This one woman with blonde hair. She's so annoying. Right, that's it's fine, mate. It's okay. That's what much as I can say. Have you seen it? You must have seen it. Have you seen it recently?
I have. So Night of the Living Dead 1990, directed by Tom Savini. The budget of this one was $4.2 million. The trivia is Lawrence Fishburne auditioned for the role of Ben, so it could have been a different movie.
Really?
Fishburne. Yeah, I would have quite liked to have seen Lawrence Fishburne in that. To be fair, I think the same as you, Vas. I think it's a. I think you summed it up perfectly when you said workman-like film. You know, it's Night of the Living Dead by the numbers, but without that little bit of je ne sais pas that Romero give it. You know, it's what I like about this movie the most. Is nothing to do with the movie. The original rights to Night of the Living Dead were accidentally given over to the mafia. So George A. Romero never made a penny of it, out of it, you know, ever. Which was, you know, and it was this massive classic, but he never made a penny out of it. When they did the remake, Savini made sure that Romero's credited it, obviously, and it was the first time that Romero ever received a paycheck for Night of the Living Dead. So that's what I like about this movie the most, that Romero got a couple of...
I think he wrote this remake as well, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, listen, you know, it kind of works for me. It, you know, I can sit through it. I don't get too bored or anything like that. You know, some of it's good, some of it's a bit hokey, like you say, like, you know, you've mentioned with the puppets and whatnot. But yeah, the original's an all-time classic, so it's difficult to get anywhere near it, to be fair. But
I kind of feel this movie should have been better than what it is. Don't you think?
It could have. Yeah, it
like,
could have.
Think about how because a lot of people really like the movie, and it's kind of stayed like in people's consciousness for like so long. I expected to like it more than what I did, but I remember seeing it all those years ago and not being blown away by it, and kind of felt the same way this time, even though I knew more of the actors who were in it. But yeah, it's absolutely fine. That's what I'm going to say about it. It's perfectly fine.
I'm happy to put this one in decent, mate. Decent.
Yeah. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. So, Night of the Living Dead, 1990. We'll put it in decent. I wonder why they got Tom Savini to direct it, even because he doesn't do anything like. It's not like he's doing the effects as well. They just got him to direct it, and I don't quite understand why they picked him. I think it must have been a favor or something.
I think so. I mean, him and Romero are friends. They're lifelong friends. So I'm pretty sure it would have been sorted out over a glass of whiskey or something like that. Some kind of gentleman's agreement. Yeah.
Right. Let's have a look at the halftime scores, and then we'll go in the second half next week. Are you up for it next week, Pete? Oh, we can't. Can we do next week, Pete? We can't do next week. I'm coming to see you, aren't I? I'm coming to see you, aren't I? How are we going to do it next week? Do you want to do it in 2 weeks?
Can do it.
So I don't know how I'm going to be when I get back home. Is that all right? 2 weeks?
Let's do it in 2 weeks, mate.
Let's do it in 2 weeks. That sounds good. Right, so halftime score. We've got 3 all-time classics. We've got 4 excellent, 6, 8 very good.
That's good.
And we've got 3, 6, 7, 8 decent, 4 bad. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 8 that are absolutely awful. And I think that's what drags down, remakes, is that some of them are just fucking terrible. And you can't help thinking, like, why do they bother? I mean, put a little bit of effort into it, isn't it? Try and do something, if you want to get the fans in. It's like they just want the people, like, for the name, they want the people just to come in, and they don't care that the movie's crap. They know people are going to come in and watch it. So even though if they just buy the ticket once, they didn't make a movie to last. They just made it it's got the name. The punters will come in, they'll check it out, they'll say it's shit, but they've already paid the money. So I kind of feel a lot of movies, remakes have that kind of mindset. The production companies or whatever who make them, and it really drags down the name of remakes, because there's some really good ones on there, dude. I mean, those
there is
these there, they're better, they're as good as any, like, those 3 there are as good as any, like, non-remake movies. They're like right up there. Anyway, that's all I've got to say on that matter.
No, listen,
So how do you feel?
it's I was just, in going through the whole list and everything like that, it's obvious that intellectual property is massive, is a massive thing in in Hollywood. You've kind of got to blame the whole J horror thing for the kind of surge of remakes that kind of started late 90s, early 2000s. It really was kind of
it went crazy in the 2000s, Pete. The remakes, like, going from 2000 up like 2005, 6, and then to the end of the 2000s. It was crazy, man. There's so many. A lot of the ones I've seen all seem to be between like 2004 and 2009 or something. Shitloads of them, man. And most of them are like Japanese remakes as well. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few remakes on this list that that were made because they were about to lose the rights to the story, if you like, the studio. So they thought, right, okay, well, in 6 months' time, this is going back to Joe Blogs. So let's put a movie out so we can make that last bit of cash out of it.
All right. Okay.
There's a few of them on here that and it won't surprise you which ones they are. And we'll talk about that, in 2 weeks' time. But I mean, listen, there's some good stuff, and like I say, my favorite movie of all time just happens to be a fucking remake. You know what I mean? So you can't slate them all, but there is enough terrible ones, to make people a little bit cautious as soon as they hear the word remake. To be fair, I mean, for me, I was one of those fucking furious internet people when I heard they were remaking Evil Dead, and and I was blown away by it. Absolutely blown away by the finished product. But I was on the fucking computer. That meme with the cat on the keyboard. How dare they make the fucking Evil Dead? That sacrilege. Blah 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 blah. And I was wrong. So I'm happy to be wrong, and sometimes, but unfortunately, most of the time we're not wrong. we can see it coming half the time. You get an indication whether or not the right people are in place. And quite a lot of the times it's studio.
And when you watch the movies, when you watch the movies, you can tell pretty quickly if it's the people want to make a good movie or it's just like a cynical, like, cash grab. They're just doing it because of the name and nothing else. They've put no effort into it. They've not thought about what makes that movie so good. Let's try and use that and expand on it and do something a little bit different, but keep the heart. They're just, okay, we're going to remake this movie. let's have a script that's quite similar, and a lot of them beat for beat exactly the same, especially the Japanese remakes and the Eastern remakes. Shot for shot, man. It's like, what was the point? Really, how was the point? Just because it's in a different language. I mean,
no, exactly for folk who don't do subtitles, who don't do reading. I'll never quite get that one myself, but yeah, man, hell of a lot of commercial and TV show directors given their first movies on remakes, you know. So you get the impression as well that the you know, even the studio don't have much faith in it. They're not going for these names with high paychecks or anything like that. So, you know, there's one movie which we'll get to next time that the director is only real credit before was fucking MC Hammer. You can't touch this video.
Blimey.
But hey ho. But you know, at the end of the day, we're all horror fans. We love horror movies. So you know, I guess I've got to say, ultimately, I'm pleased that we're getting horror movies, and I'm pleased you know, horror movies are coming in. I'm pleased also that, you know, Hollywood has took notice of, you know, the horror movement that was going on in Japan and Korea and stuff like that. That's a good thing. But you know, it's how you translate it as well. You know, a lot of the reason why some of these J horror movies work is because it's steeped in their culture, and some of it doesn't transfer. When you lose that, you just end up with something completely bland and unrecognizable, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can sometimes see that they're struggling, so they actually move the setting to Japan or wherever, and all of a sudden they just happen to be going there, and all this stuff starts happening to them. I'm like, well, you've just done that because you can't make it work in this country, so you've shipped them up over to Japan and made a Japanese horror movie just in the English language with some recognizable faces. I don't know, man. It's I'm not buying it, like. But having said all that, dude, a good horror film, I'll take it in any way, shape or form. I don't mind a sequel or a requel or a reboot or whatever. Just make a good bloody movie, man. That's it. Just try for that. And I don't care how you do it. Just get to that point, and I'll be happy, mate. That's all I ask for. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, thanks everyone who's watched this and who's watching it in the future. We shall be back in 2 weeks' time from the date that this aired, and we're going to do part two.
Before you wrap up, is there any comments that we have to do beforehand?
Dude, I can't find. I think the comments have stopped because I think there's some sort of glitch. Because I can't see any more comments for ages. I think it's a glitch or something. Nothing's showing up. But yeah, so anyway, thanks everyone who joined us. We're having a good time going through these movies and rewatching a lot of them. And we're going to have a good chance to rewatch a bunch more. So they'll be fresh in our minds. And we're going to see which ones are good and which ones should be in the bin. So we'll see you next time. Thanks very much for joining us. Do you want to say anything, Pete?
Just thank you very much for having us again, Vas. I love it, and look forward to seeing you next week in the flesh, baby, in the flesh.
All right, guys, take care and enjoy your week. We'll see you in 2 weeks, same time, same place. Bye bye.